Am I live? Did I do it? Can you hear me? Can you see me? I just ran down the stairs after getting something to drink. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Am I okay? Let me know. Oh, I'm echoing. I'm echoing. Hold on. Okay, can you hear me? Am I good? My boobs are tilted. My boobs are tilted. Hey! Hey, Leslie. Yeah, I popped into Justin's because I saw all that last night and it was not okay. So, thumbs up. Hear me? Everything's good? Woo! Okay. So, ha ha. This might be a little fun. Am I loud enough? Do I need to do anything with the volume before I get started on my high, very high horsey? All right. I literally ran down the stairs because I forgot I needed to get something to drink. And I ran all the way up the stairs and down the stairs. And I am 50 years old and I do not exercise. Can't remember the last time I exercised. So literally going up and down the stairs, I'm an out of shape little bitch. Whew. So there are a lot of new people in here. So, I sound like I'm a little bit far away. All right. Do I sound better now? Can you hear me now? 50 from here to here. And especially here, your brain goes first. So, Stinson House, can you hear me? Am I better now? Ugh, if I could talk. Blah, blah, blah. Am I better now? Okay, I'm just going to start. So, for all the new people, I like to have an actual open panel. I don't like to regulate comments really at all. I'm kind of known for having like 100 people in one mod. I think you guys can be, my sound still sounds low? All right, let's figure out how to not be low. Make sure this is in, all right. All right. Am I better now? I think I just need to be closer. I think I ran down the stairs and I'm a little like out of breath. So so I'll just try and talk louder. I don't know. Can you make the volume go up? I don't know if I can make my volume go up, like my input volume go up. I don't know if you even can do that. This is only my 6th time. I don't even know what I'm doing. And I'm blonde. All right. So I don't want to regulate your comments. I don't think that if I say the sky is blue and you say the sky is gray, that you're coming for me. I don't think that means you're coming for me. I don't think that means you're against me. I don't think that means anything, but you have a difference of opinion. So I like opinions because we would be nowhere without opinions, like the opinion that women should wear pants. There's all sorts of opinions that we didn't used to have that we now do. Our country was founded on opinions, so I'm not going to regulate your opinions, all right? And I want the discussion to go where it could go. If it does seem really low, let me just take a second and then look at it, because a lot of people are saying it's a little low. But I want you guys to say what you want to say, and oh, I know what it is. It's not on the right microphone. You guys are smart. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, let's try this. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear anything? Okay. Well, can you hear, hold on, can you hear me? Because you can hear me now. You can hear me now? It just let me switch to an actual microphone that you can hear me now. Holy shit. Fuck. Okay, I'm going to drop you down, bum, because you can hear me. Oh, fucking A. Horse shit. Like, this is my 6th time. I don't know what the heck I'm doing, and then it just like, bleh. Like, really? I'm like going to break a sweat here. I don't need this. Woo! Oh my god, I was about to lose my cookies. Oh, I need a drink. Someone get me some vodka over here, please. Oh. Horse shit. I need some vodka and some pills or something. Whew, sweating. Okay. Ah, that was nerve-wracking. That was really like, okay, Bum, you're going down because I'm talking all by myself right now for just a second. It was telling me I needed to restart my browser. And I was like, I can't restart my browser or I lose my broadcast. And every time I switched to a microphone, it muted me. And I'm like, holy crap. Yeah, it makes you nervous. Trust me. If you've never been up here, where's the pool boy? Hello? Boobs over here. Need a pool boy. Whiskey, vodka, sex on the beach. Somebody help a mama out. Wow. If you've never been up here, it is a little nerve-wracking up here. Because I'm sitting in a room by myself talking to me, and y'all are there. I see, yeah, I know exactly where I went, and I know who I was with, and it is not fun. Not fun at all. But you're like up here, and you're talking amongst yourself, and there's no one else, and you feel like an idiot, and then all of a sudden no one can hear you, and you're like, what do I do? And it's like, you know, it's like in the movie where they got to cut the line, or the bomb's going to go off, and you're like, red or blue, red or blue, red or blue. And I was cutting the blue and I needed the red. Okay. All right. Back to wherever the heck I was, like, what, 10 minutes ago? Fuck me. All right. Thank you for all being here. Okay. So, I like to have a real open panel. I like people to talk. I love people to talk. I want you to lead what you want to say. You know, I don't want to direct it. So, you guys lead it. And you know, something Justin said the other day. He said, you know, he's really honored when he has people in his chat. And, you know, because we were talking about sometimes not everyone treats the people in chat kindly. And, you know, yes, when you're a one-man band and the band frickin' blows its drum and throws the guitar and smashes everything and you're like, okay. Yeah, exactly it. Whew. But anyway, sometimes people in chat and, you know, just subs don't get treated always all that greatly. So Justin said something like, I'm always honored that people have taken their time to go away from their families and be here to listen to me. Me, right? So I really thought a lot about that. And it's a great thing to say because it's true. You guys could be anywhere doing anything. You guys could be at a pool having drinks. I wish I was there too right now. But you're here. So I want to just thank you all for being here. I'm glad the sound got fixed because I was about to seriously flip a bitch. But anyway, so what I wanted to talk about is what the fuck is wrong with people today? What? I mean, there's enough going on in the world. There's wars. There's people who don't have enough to eat. And I want to say hi to everybody. I'm not one of those, like, let's take 10 minutes and say, you know, hello to you and hello to you and hello to you. And, you know, I'm just going to give the group hi. So hello to everybody. I appreciate all of you being here. I appreciate it to the nth degree. So just what's been going on lately, I think is pretty fucked up. And this, like, not even going to, like, what's happened to me personally, but just how people treat each other, just how people talk to each other. You know, I don't understand it. And like I said in the little intro, which, you know, normally I do kind of a little, like, try and be a little funny, haha, you know, hopefully it comes off funny, but, you know, whatever, I try and do something. But this time I was like, you know, I got nothing. I got hair out of place, but I got nothing. You know, I can't be funny. I can't make this funny. There's no little zinger I want to say to this. Like, this is just wrong. So I just kind of said what I wanted to say. But, you know, we've all been petty bitches. And we've all been assholes. Like who's good? Am I going to sit here and be like, I've never talked behind anybody's back? We've all done it. None of that, and that's one thing. Like when people say something like you did this, it's like, unless you're an angel, you can't say anything back. You called me a bitch. It's like, unless I'm perfect and I can't say anything. If you call out someone who is doing something for missing kids, they say, well, what have you done for missing kids? As if that matters. I didn't choose to do anything for missing kids. Me not doing something for missing kids doesn't mean I'm not allowed to call you out for not being the greatest at doing what you're doing for missing kids. If I say don't dox me because I might have called someone a bitch, it's like not the same, right? And people do that all the time. What's funny? Whenever I see someone put in chat for I'm so confused, because I'm trying to get better at like always looking down, but I always think someone's really confused. Like I see it and I'm like, holy shit, someone's confused. My sound is out. So it always confuses me. I hate your name. No, but anyway, like we do that. It's like, if I say, look at what's been done to me, it's like, well, you did this. Well, nothing I've done in my life makes it okay for what just that. Nothing I've done makes that okay. I don't care what I've done, who I've said, anything to, that doesn't make that okay, right? Like I can be on Been Verified every flipping day and look every one of you motherfuckers up. But if I keep it to myself, like it says when you do it, it makes you sign something or click on something that says, I will use this for my own personal reasons. Like I'm an employer, or I'm going to date someone and want to make sure you're not an axe murderer. You can use those sites for your own personal choices. You can. They are there. There is nothing wrong to look someone up on a Been Verified or a WhatsApp. Nothing wrong with it. Unless you use it to be a vile motherfucker. And that's what is happening. People are using it to be vile motherfuckers. And that's what's wrong. So it's all about intent. It's all about intent. You can read a news article about someone who stabbed someone and went to jail, right? You can read that. But when you read that particular message to hurt somebody because it's about them or someone in their family, you go from being petty bitch and an asshole to being a vile motherfucker. Don't be a vile motherfucker. It's okay if you got my name, which I know how and where and why. And it's okay if you looked me up. It is not okay, though, because all of that makes you a petty bitch. I did say I said axe murderer. It's probably my accent, my accentuation. Anyway, now you made me lose my place, Justin, bastard. Don't know what an ascot is, and you made me lose my place. Thank you very much. Out of here. No, but I mean, fine. You did what you did. You looked me up. You found some info out. Great. But when you write an email to my husband's old employer saying that I am a child molester and I'm doing illegal activities on their property, that makes you a vile motherfucker. When you write emails to my friends and family saying that I am harassing women and I'm doing all these horrible things and I have all these lawsuits against me coming, you're a vile motherfucker. When you send a message to my sheriff saying that I've harassed and molested children, you're a vile motherfucker. When you put a video up with my children's pictures when they were 5 and 7, and in the title and description has me and my husband's full legal names and our address, and that video is so vile that YouTube, who is so fast and quick to just find things, YouTube, you put a video up and bam, they know about it, right? They're so fast. Well, this was so bad that they were so fast that they took it down on their own. And they terminated the channel. And they contacted me How many of you have been contacted by YouTube's legal department? How many? How many of you have contacted them and never heard back? They don't, you can't get in touch with them, right? That makes you a vile motherfucker. You don't do that. And when you send me an email saying, you did this, you started it, what did I start? What the fuck did I start? Did I start a comedy channel? Yeah. Yeah, I did. And do I have a character that does roast? Yeah, I do. I do. And did that character make up a satire about a community which had a lot of people in it, like Justin and ICU and Marissa? A lot of people were in that same story. Susan, all those people are in my chat right here. Did that comedy character make some roast about Precious Chaos, who's my bud now? Yep. It's a comedy channel, and there is a character that does roast. There's also a character that does like office YouTube drama. Kathy Vaughn's Sneaker Trap. God, I'm all flustered now. I'm getting pissed off. Like, get it through your head, right? Right? No one else in the whole world is all butthurt because they realize what it is. There's a difference. And in any case, me sitting on my channel saying whatever the fuck I want, which is not to you, which you will never find unless you come to me, maybe at most makes me a petty bitch and an asshole. It doesn't make me a vile motherfucker. Got it? I mean, am I wrong here? I mean, is this acceptable behavior? I mean, does anybody think that a tit goes for a tat? Anybody? No, and I mean no. Poor Susan, she never, see, and this is the thing, okay? There are people that like to say I have a bullying and hate channel, okay? Now, I have a feeling that 95%, and people ask me I'm going to roast myself. I mean, come on. Just whatever to that whole thing. But, see, now I lost my place. Can't lose my place. But, I mean, no matter what I do, it doesn't take it to that level. Like, any of us, whatever we're doing, even if I sit here and I say mean things about someone, I'm not saying it to you. I'm not saying it near you. It doesn't make it okay to do a video about my kids. And everybody says that. Don't do the children. Can't get to the children. They're the biggest proponents of not the children. Someone says, oh, she went to a child's birthday party. You talked about my children. No, didn't. Talked about a birthday party. Child's, that's comma S, birthday party. That means child owns the birthday party. That means technically you were talking about the birthday party of which the children went to. That's called proper English. So you weren't technically talking about the children. You were talking about the birthday party. Okay? That's just English. All right? It's just wrong. And like I was saying, I have a feeling that 95% of the people who think that maybe I do have this bullying and hate channel have never seen my channel. I guarantee it. I guarantee the majority of people who think that have never been to my channel, have probably never seen a single video. They just hear it and believe it. Because not everybody has time to do all this, right? Like, no, people don't have time. So I guarantee, I mean, do you? Like, you're sitting in a chat, you're watching a video, and they say, oh, Hillbilly Bob, he shot himself in the foot. Do you go over to Bill Hilly Bob's and go check out if he really shot himself in the foot? No. You kind of take someone's word for it, especially if it's someone who you kind of feel like or have repertoire with. You kind of believe what they say, You feel they're credible. That's why you're friends with them. So when they say it, you believe it. And when someone says it so prophetically, oh, bullying and hate channel, most people, probably 95 or more of the people just believe it. I'm sure most of them have never said, well, let me go, because the link's not exactly dropped, let me go look that up and see if it's true. Let me go watch some of the, no, they've never, they're like, bullying and hate channel, Okay, so come and watch it, and you'll be like, oh, because that's what happened to Susan. Because it was, there's that creator that made those really mean stories about me and Susan. And you know what? I heard Susan, and it's fine. But she was like, I'll box your head off. You come here, you damn blonde bitch. She was like out for me. Because she was told, and she believed it. She believed that I had said and done all these horrible things, which when she looked was like, oh, like I wasn't really even in it. And what she said about me was kind of like nice about me and defended me. But she didn't know it till she went there, which she didn't do until she wasn't friends with the person anymore. And that's how it works. People talk shit about you and other people believe it, and they don't go and do their due diligence to vet you. And then they come after you too. And then suddenly someone who's a stay-at-home mom who's doing a little bit of comedy suddenly gets contacted by YouTube Legal and is like, what? Wait, what? Oh, let me go into my spam. Holy shit, what is in my spam folder? Holy crap. Wow. Okay. I might put them in a community post, all the actual redacted emails and stuff, but if you look, I think the thumbnail for this video, the picture on it, the wording says, I'm a child molester, yada, yada, yada. And then it's got a picture. Okay. My hair's red because it was a long time ago. And my baby was like 13 months. That's a picture of my 13-month-old. There's an email that was sent to all my friends, all over the place, saying, I'm a child molester, with me holding my 13-month-old baby, proud mama. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that nice? Isn't that good? Isn't that okay to do? Right? Isn't that fair tit for tat for me having a comedy channel that did a satire that didn't even use your name? Because what a satire is you take something happening and you exaggerate it to make a funny story. So it's kind of about you, but kind of not, because everything's been exaggerated to be something it's not. That's why it's funny, because normal life, we're not really all that funny just by ourselves. You have to kind of make it a little bit bigger. I mean, anyone think that's okay? Anyone? Quite honestly, if anybody honestly thinks there is in any way anything justifiable in this, honestly, say so. I'm not going to bite your head off. No one's going to, I want to know, honestly, have I done something that really honestly, goes to that level? Does me doing anything I've ever done justify that at all? Because what if, granted, the email went to someone who my husband worked for 2 years ago, who happens to be a family friend because I live in a small town. And when they got the email, they wrote back and said, hey, if you want to talk about this, call me. Because they were like, okay, we know that that's not true because she's not on our property because he doesn't work here and hasn't for 2 years. And even when he did, she was never on our property. Dawn has asked who did this to me. I can't necessarily say that because it is an active case. But let me just say that I know who it is. And I have, the evidence that I have is of the particular person who got my name and then got the information about me. I'm pretty sure there are other people involved, because the reason I know that is because one person outed the other. But as far as it being, a group, there is a group that does do things to people, but I can't really, I'm saying without saying, because, I can't really say. It's with the police and lawyers right now, and they will decide how to deal with that. But yes, it's not just one person. No, to think it's just one person who's like a petty bitch who hates me. No, it's bigger than that. I'm not the first person who has had something like this happen to. And, there's kind of like an underground organization. It sounds so seedy and stupid, but that has the ability to dox people and hack people. And there's a group that can do that. And then there are people who just say hey, can you, just like anything else, there's a garage that fixes cars, and then there's people that go in and say, hey, fix my car, you know. It's like there's, you know, and obviously I'm going to go because that's why this continues. Hold on, I need to definitely go ahead. Yes, you will find out eventually. And, you know, these things take time. You know, it does take time. I'm not making this go fast because I also want to kind of get to the bigger picture, because I kind of feel like I came to YouTube because I was watching like the Bullhorn Betty Crew thing, and I thought like her saying what she did about him was wrong. You know, so I started on Twitter kind of like parodying her and stuff and stupid stuff like that. And then this kind of fell into me. But like I kind of feel like this happening to me, I'm probably one of the few people, and I don't like say that this is good or bad, but you know, I'm kind of someone who, like, you're not going to ruffle my feathers. You're not going to, like, flip me out. You're not going to get me to yell at you. You're not going to get me to cry. You know, you're not going to get me to leave YouTube. You know, you're not going to do that. If you think I'm going to be someone who's going to be like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. Why did I ever roast anybody? No, like, that's not really me, right? You know, I'm the kind of person who's going to say, hey, everybody, look what I got yesterday, you know? So, yeah, kind of mess with the wrong person here. But, I mean, maybe it's good that it happened to me because, you know, I am someone who is not just going to let it go. Like, they've stopped what they're doing, you know? And I could probably very easily say, oh, and my husband is this way. He's like, why don't we just let it go? You know, it's stop, just let it go. And I'm like, no. You can type in all caps. You can be an all capper. There are all cappers who do it to hide their glaring ignorance, but you are not one of them. You may type in all caps. I sometimes type in all caps when I want to like really say something, but you know, he kind of was like immediately like, let's just let it go. And I was like, no, because then I'm almost co-signing the next person, you know, who gets it done to them, right? Like, I have the ability to really put a wrench in this whole thing, you know? And so me just kind of being like, well, they stopped doing it to me, so let me just stop too. That kind of, you know, it's going to happen to the next person. So for me to, maybe it happened to me so I can do something about it. And I intend to do everything I can about it. And I intend to look into the bigger picture. Like, there's two things here. There's the bigger picture about it, of what goes on YouTube, right? There's like a bigger picture of people who get doxxed and harassed, right? And then there's, you know, my little thing. And originally I thought my little thing was a little bigger, because there was some evidence that showed it being a lot bigger. And it still may. I mean, you know, like, you know, let's just say it's an active investigation. But, you know, mine may be more like a petty bitch who got vile, you know, who, you know, whatever. But, you know, yeah, exactly. If I don't do it, you know, it's like when there's a rapist and, you know, and I do say that word, I'm sorry. I don't, you know, I'm not monetized. I don't care if I ever am, because I'm going to say things like that. Because when you say someone R's you, that doesn't make it sound as horrible as when I just said rape. That makes it sound really bad. And you all just said, oh my God, that sounds like a horrible thing. It's like unalive. Like, let's say these things as the words they are, because they don't sound quite as bad when we just try. Like, I'm tired of sugarcoating shit. That's a whole nother topic. Like, why? Hey, Precious. See, Precious. I mean, you know, why do we sugarcoat shit? Puff, puff, give, Precious. I mean, why do we sugarcoat things? Like, why can we not say certain words? Why? Like, let's say this happens. This happens and it's horrible. Let's not sugarcoat it and, like, let's just say it in the back. She was raped. What does that accomplish? You know, I mean, I could get in a whole diatribe about, like, you know, history and us kind of erasing our history and blah, 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 but I digress, you know. But I think some things need to change around here, big time, because when I think about it, I think about kids. And is this what I want to leave to my kids? Like, I remember, so I started my career in Palo Alto. I was one of, like, those 20-year-olds that founded, you know, the internet. You know, I was one of those running around with socks and everybody. And, you know, I remember when there was no YouTube, or there was no Yahoo. You know, I remember when there was Oracle and everything, you did everything on Oracle, and it was really hard, you know, like I was there, you know, I was there in 1994 and 1995. I was one of those people who started all that. You know, you're hacking the code I fucking made up, people. Just think about that. I created that code, okay? I remember when a website was a bunch of text and you put the blink tag in there, because that's the only thing you could do, was you put the blink tag. And it was like, ooh, something can blink a color. Yay. You know, your website was like a picture, and then this is my website. And you'd have website in the blink tag. And you were like, wow, look at my new website. That's so advanced. Yeah, remember all that stuff? Like, that's where I started. That's when I started writing code. So anyway, I just digressed, but but we need to stop this stuff. You know, Facebook was meant to be, let's put your stuff out there so you can find old friends. What is the point of YouTube anymore? Because God forbid you put your stuff out there, you might find someone and they're going to fucking put your kids in a video getting hit. I mean, come on. What is the point of Facebook anymore? Like, I remember when I first got Facebook, and I was like putting pictures up, and it was like, oh, and then I'd look through, I'd like put a name of someone I used to know, and I'd be like, oh my God, yeah, look at that picture, that looks, yeah, and then I'd look in, and I'd be like, oh yeah, living in Louisiana, yeah, that's where they live. You know, went to school here, and this, yeah, that must be them, because they went to school at that time frame. You know? That's what Facebook was for, right? Can't, God forbid, don't put that up now. Don't put that up. I haven't been on Facebook either. Don't put that up now, because God forbid someone might find you. Like, Facebook used to be so we could find each other. Now it's like, you better private it. What is the point of Facebook if it's private? My Facebook is private, and I don't use it. I can't remember the last time I posted. You know? Yeah. I mean, I remember when, you know, I hand-coded HTML, and there was no JavaScript. It was just HTML. You know? Blink. You know, that was a tag, right? Why is someone trying to put an address in chat? What address? Is this like a physical address or a URL? Because I do, hey Pooh, because I do have URL. Why does it look like Molly's chat? I'm blocked in Molly's, so I don't know what Molly's chat looks like. Didn't put an address. Oh, Palo Alto. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. It probably was. I heard Palo Alto was bad. Was it the murder capital in the 90s? I remember when I went there, I was like, California, it's going to be so nice. And I got there, and for how expensive it was, it didn't seem quite as nice as I thought it would be. But, I mean, there's no point to any of that. What's the point of social media was to be social. Now, it's scary to be social. It was the murder capital. That's kind of cool. I got there like early 95. I started visiting 94. Wow, that's cool. Asian return. Yeah, I mean, people now say, oh, I went to school to learn. Like, there was no school back when I started. There was no school to learn how to write code, because code was not code. It was what we were making up. You know, it was like, you know, a few tags, and we started creating others. I mean, there was no school because there was no nothing. You know, we had 14 4K modems. I mean, it was, you know, and it was a great time. If anyone hasn't seen, what's the Facebook movie? Is it called Social Media, or the social project? There's the movie that's about the creation of Facebook. It came out probably 10 years ago. But does anyone remember the name? The Social Experiment? No, not that. It was all about how Zuckerberg stole the idea and and it had Justin Timberlake in it. Was it The Social Experiment? Okay. Well, I remember when I watched that, and I was like, oh my God, that was like, I can't wait to show my kids, because that was my life. That was what we did. We stayed up till 4 a.m. making stupid things so we could learn. You know, that's what we did. We were 20-year-olds. You know, my first company that I started was in my house, in my like living room, which was a small, oh, you're thinking of there was like a mainstream movie that had and I don't, my one monitor died, so I only have one monitor, so I can't look it up. But there was a mainstream movie that was made that is all about Facebook and how it's social network. Social network. Go see the social network. I mean, and there was one time when he's like looking stuff up, and I mean, like that was our lives, and it was so fun. It was so fun to be there. It was kind of like you thought you were like God, like, you know, we were 20 and we were creating like this thing, like we created the internet. It was like an amazing time period, and I'm so glad that I lived through it until like 2000 came and there was the dot-com bust. And I had a lot of friends who lived their lives on stock options and they lost everything, which was their private jet and their yacht. So, you know, not that bad, but anyway, you should see it. If you haven't seen that movie, see it. It's really fun. And then you'll know where I came from, because that was what I did. But yeah, so the first company I created was, it was in my living room, which was an apartment in Palo Alto. It was a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment in 95. And anyone want to guess how expensive it was? 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 95. Take a guess how much it cost. Take a guess. 95, long time, so almost 20 years ago, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. Give me a guess. Outsourcing did kill everything. Oh, I loved coding. Nope. $3,000. $3,000. No, it was $3,000. I mean, it was ridiculous, and it wasn't that nice. It was not that nice. Not nice at all. I mean, it was kind of like, if it was anywhere else in the world, it would be like $500, but it was $3,000. It was ridiculous. But anyway, that I digressed. But that was a wonderful time. But you know, the point was, we all made social media to be social. Well, we were making ridiculous sums of money at the time. I mean, it was the dot-com days. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, it was nuts. But and then the dot-com bust came, and you know. Yeah, I know, Hakuna. I could be your mom. Yeah. I am retired now. I am retired now. But it wasn't really by choice. I actually hurt my back, and then I ended up being in a coma, and then I had an injury, and like I can't work now. But I could have retired anyway. I mean, it's fine. I am retired, but yes, I am retired. But yeah, I mean, social media started to be social, to go find people, right? To go find people, to put your pictures out, and then have other people see your pictures and find people, you know? And like, anybody remember, like, I remember being like, oh, do I remember? Oh yeah, this person. Then you'd go into Facebook and put their name in, and you'd look them up. You know, you'd go onto Google, you'd look people up. The same thing, and that's why it's intent. The same thing that the vile motherfuckers are doing today is the same thing that we did then. But then we were doing it to reconnect with an old friend that we hadn't seen since high school. And now people are doing it to ruin people's lives. I mean, it's wrong. It's just really, really wrong. And when I look at my kids, I think, is this what I want to leave to them? Do we want the next generation to live in a world where you can't tell anybody anything about yourself? Like, don't show your face. I mean, like burnt toast. Like you know, I didn't want to do that because I think part of what makes me funny is my facial expressions. I don't think I would be nearly as funny without like all my dorky facial expressions and stuff. But I mean, like, is that what we need to do? You know, do we need to just be like a little circle that like pulsates when we talk? Because that's dumb. That's really dumb. If that's what we need to do, that's dumb. You know, do my kids need to, like, until they have a blood sample and DNA from a friend, not tell them their last name? You know, should we, I mean, where do we go with this? Where does this go? What precipice are we on that we are going to fall off of and die from? I mean, it's not okay. And it's not what I want to leave for my kids. I don't want, when my kids are my age, to, you know, I mean, it's like we're getting scared. You know, I feel like we're all out there like, don't tell anyone your name. Oh, they didn't see me. You know, don't give out your address. You know, if you're on the phone and you go to yell for your kid, you're like, don't say your kid's name. Don't let it, like, where do we go? Where do we go? And yes, even if we take away what happened to me, the next level below it is just totally ragging on you. Like, you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to have, exactly, you are a poo because you're a poo. Because if you weren't a poo, then you would probably be getting fucked over by vile motherfuckers too. Because you do go after people. Like, poo does go after people. I mean, my goodness. Like, and poo, you make some people mad. If poo showed his or her face, poo would be diarrhea, maybe. I mean, I don't know, but they definitely would go after poo. I mean, and that's the thing. And so for people who want to say, like, well, you should have been smarter. No, I shouldn't have been, because my information is scrubbed. My Facebook is private. It took a lot to get to me. I wasn't, Queen OG is not my real name. Okay? And nothing of my Queen OG stuff is related to my other stuff. It's completely separate. If you type in my name, so it took a lot. I didn't do any of the wrong things. I didn't start this out under my real name and change it to Queen OG. I don't have this link to my Facebook. I don't have an open Facebook. And I don't have anything else other than Facebook. Like, I don't have LinkedIn. I don't have any of that stuff. So I did everything right. And probably one of the reasons that, I got emails, and basically that's what I got. So I got emails to the one employer, family, friends, the sheriff, but it didn't go further than that because I think they couldn't find anything because my info is scrubbed pretty much. And I don't have anything. I've never been arrested. I've never paid a bill late. I mean, I'm really kind of dweeby, I was like a dork, I was a .comer nerd. I'm a nerd. Like, truth be told, I might not look like it, but I'm a nerd my whole life. I sat at my computer. Facebook was a major violation of personal privacy. And one thing I do want to get into, and I don't know, maybe this will end up being like another video, but just the whole how people throw around, oh, I'm gonna, HIPAA violation. Okay, unless I am your caregiver, I'm not in violation of HIPAA. HIPAA only applies to your caregiver. So when some person says something, unless they're your doctor or your nurse, so one thing we need to do is dispel all these dumb things that people say. People make all these false threats. There's so many false threats, and they bug the crap out of me when people say these stupid things like, like, how many people, if I had $1 for every time I saw on a live stream someone saying, I'm going to call my lawyer, you're going to jail. I mean, how many times have you heard someone say that? Where are all these cops that have been called? Where are all these lawyers that are writing letters? I think I did on my last one. It's like letters everywhere. Where are all these letters? Everybody's writing letters. There's hundreds of lawyers writing thousands of letters. Where the fuck are they? Where are these letters that have been written? And where are all these people getting the money for all these lawyers? A lawyer is not cheap. Lawyers are $100 to $500 an hour. I mean, that's more than most of these YouTubers make in a month. I mean, I think one of them said what they make, and you could maybe get a lawyer for an hour and a half, maybe, pre-tax. So, all lies. I'm getting a lawyer. I'm doing cease and desist this. Desist your ass. I mean, fuck, man. Yeah, I have never heard lawyers. And it's funny. I come from, like, business. You don't throw around lawyers. That's not fun to do. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. Hey, Marianne Saba, I gotta blow my nose because my son broke my nose and I can't breathe. So I'm gonna mute for a second and blow my nose. So hold on. But talk amongst yourselves about what do you want to talk about next? I think I've talked all about the whole, like, this is wrong and these are vile motherfuckers. So put in here what you want to talk about next. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to blow my nose so you don't see me blow my nose. So hold on. What is Zello? Because I saw someone saying Zello before. What is Zello? Oh, I saw that. And I think I might have said, because it's true, if you want to puff puff give, precious. I think I did see someone said that the best, and I've said it, the best way to talk to YouTube is really on Twitter. Like if you want to get, it's a walkie-talkie app. That's the Zello thing. So it basically turns your phone into like a walkie-talkie. Is that what Zello is? Because if so, that's pretty cool. I got hair in my mouth. But I mean, I've said it before, and maybe this is where they got it from. But Twitter is the best way to get a hold of YouTube, and I think that's one of the ways that Burnt Toast would actually reach them. Is that's a really good way to get a hold of them. So yeah, I've seen that some people are over there just. But you know what? I mean, the flip side is YouTube has a lot of stuff to do. Like a lot of stuff to do. Like they really frown upon nagging them. Like if you talk to them too much, if you nag them, they will shut you down just for doing it. Oh, I love saying 10-4. My kids and I, we got walkie-talkies, and we got it because our property is, kind of big, and so you can hear it from all around. And it's so fun being like, 10-4, over. It's mama, over, 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 over and over, 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 10-4, over, mama, over, out. It's fun doing those. Oh, so if you're, well, I mean, the bad thing about these new phones is the older phones, you can hack into them if there's no cell tower signal. Because it had before all this 3G and stuff. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, Twitter is the best way to contact them. But at the same token, I mean, it's like anybody. If somebody leaves you a message and you say it 27 times, you're I am the first person to say, I hate being nagged. Hate it. I tell my kids, it's one of my pet peeves. I am a very even keel, calm person, but there are certain things that get me riled up, and nagging me is a really good way. If you say something, breaker, queen, oh gee, I got a breaker, 10-4 on the haker. I would love, actually, I marched in a drum corps when I was younger, and when we would have to drive, I would drive from where my state was to the state where they were, and it was a long drive, in double digits, and we would always see the truck drivers, and it would always be so fun to hear them. Hey, we've got a 10-4 good buddy, Prius over here, not getting electricity, flipped over and is done for down. I mean, it's just so funny to listen to those guys talk. But nobody likes to be nagged, especially a company. A company does not want to be nagged. So if Twitter sees you saying the same thing over and over again, they're going to just mute ya. And I tell my kids that. I'm like, ask me something once, fine. Ask me something twice, okay. Third time, fourth time, you're done. No. I cannot stand being nagged. But YouTube is very, they're very specific on the fact that they won't go into the legal realm. If you want to go and contact a lawyer about your copyright situation, you can, but they don't deal with any of that. That's neither here nor there to them. And a lawyer telling them to do something isn't necessarily gonna mean anything to them, because they've got their own rules that they abide by, and you know, I'm pretty sure, and I don't know this for a fact, but I think just from what I know from Burnt Toast, you know, she did everything before, you know, she would have been shut down. You know, so she actually had the copyright strikes and the communication come from the lawyer. Yeah, they won't give you legal advice, and they're not going to do anything legal for you. Like, that's not their domain. They're like, we're over here, and these are our rules that we play by, and we don't care what is said over in, you know, this is our rule over here, right? But she had all the communications on her copyrights go from the lawyer. So the lawyers were talking as her, you know, with all the, you know, so when she would get a strike or whatever, the lawyers were the ones to respond and to state why it wasn't copyright infringement. And that's a little bit different than, I don't know what's supposedly going on here. There's supposedly going to be some lawyers that come in after the fact and tell YouTube to take things away. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work like that. I mean, if your channel's been down for a few days and a lawyer comes in and says, hey, we think you should re-put that up, I don't think that does anything. But who am I to know? I don't know. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, all I have to say is I don't know where we go from here. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you knew the person who did this to me, would you still be friends with them? Because I think that's another one of, and I'm not saying you guys like in particular, this is kind of like an up in the clouds, you know, comment, but, you know, I think that's part of the problem, you know. Oh wait, we're talking about shadow bans. Shadow ban, when you go to look at the channel, it's come up with the channel, with the videos you put. So what is shadow banning? Because now I'm reading chat. What does that mean? Wait, let me go back a little bit. Hold on, let me read this. Because I do want to know what this is. Thank you. I just got a little squirt from my hobby. A little squirt! I'm double fisting now, baby. Hold on. I've heard of, I want to read what this is about. Shadow banning. Because I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is. Will shadow ban you? What is a shadow ban? Well, yes, that is another thing that needs to be talked about. All of these companies, they're here for the money. I hate to tell you. Shadow ban is where, so like, I've seen where YouTube will actually say you're no comments, right? Okay, I've seen that. Shadow ban is when it creates. Okay. That's a little bit, that's interesting. So you can still be up, but you don't really get a lot of exposure. Do they tell you if you're shadow banned? Or do you not know? Like, how do you know? Do you know? Yeah, I mean, the thing that, so now I'm back to talking about friends, but I mean, if you know somebody's doing something like that, why are you friends with them? You know, why do you co-sign that bullshit? You know, that's another thing. Like, I mean, everyone talks about, you know, shorty and who knew what, but I mean, you know, when you're friends with someone, you give them the benefit of the doubt for a while, right? And that's what happened there. You know, you have your friend, you talk to your friend, and you're like, hey, you're doing some things wrong. I don't like it, you know, and they're like, okay, I'll work. You know, it's like when you have a friend who's a drug addict, let's say. That's a good example. You know, and they say, okay, I'm going to get clean, whatever. And, you know, you give them that chance. And then, you know, the next time they mess up, you know, they're like, oh, I'm going to get clean. You know, but on the third chance, you drop them or whatever, you know, like you give them so many chances because you are a friend. And then at a certain point, you have to, you know, say, okay, you know, you're trying to fool me here. You're not changing. Bye-bye. Right? I mean, the thing with like these people, it's like, you know, when you know something like this has happened, why would you still be around that person or friends with that person? Because there's no saying that's okay. Like, you know, there's no saying that's okay. Katie, you got hacked too? Wow. All right, now I'm reading you guys. Do you know who hacked you, Katie? Yeah, you're not responsible for your friends, but you're responsible for being friends with them. So it's kind of, and this is a good conversation. This is a good conversation. Where do you draw the line? Because if you have a friend who's doing something wrong, you're not responsible for them, But at what point does, it's called, on the internet, it's called the bad neighbor policy. They used to call it with IP addresses. If your IP address was a bad IP address and you were on a server next to another IP address, that IP address would be frowned upon as well. It's like, the bad neighbor thing. Like if you're friends with a vile human being, people think you're a vile human being. But, you aren't necessarily per se, but maybe, where do we draw those lines? If you have a friend who's doing something like this, do you just not be friends with them? Do you, and that's the question. There's no right or wrong there. It's a, it's a very gray area, and it's something to talk about because obviously, there's guilt by association, but you didn't do it. It's like the whole, Shorty thing. Like her friends didn't do anything, and they eventually, they tried to help her. They were good friends. They tried to help her, and when they realized there was no help to be had, they walked. And I think that's what you do. But in between there's this very gray area of like, if your friend does something wrong, I don't think you immediately drop them because they're your friend. You care about them. I think you're a bad friend if you immediately drop someone. But at a certain point, you have to be like, hey, like what you did was really wrong. I can't be friends with someone who I know does that. Like that's just a morally wrong thing to do. How can I be friends with someone who does that kind of thing, Okay, the bigger question is, why does it take someone harming themselves or others before YouTube? I think, well, this is a good topic. This is a good topic to talk about. I think I can imagine it's hard for a company because the companies like this will always try to cut themselves off from the responsibility of the content. So YouTube tries very hard to say, we provide a video creation platform, but the actual content in those videos, we have nothing to do with, right? They're trying, that's what they want to say. We're not responsible for if someone puts out this certain video and then someone does, but at the same token, they do have to take responsibility for what's put on their platform. So that's where, again, we're getting into some difficulty is, a YouTube would love to just say, we provide a house, you put your furniture in, and we got nothing to do with the furniture at all. But as real people, we're like, well, if someone puts in a chair that is going to break and make me crack my skull, and I get hurt, you're kind of responsible for it because you allowed it to stay there. So there's, a gray area there of how much do they have responsibility for what's on their platform. And I think that's a big question that needs to be solved, is how responsible they are. Because that goes to what someone said about, is it going to take someone hurting themselves, but that really, I don't know, it's the same thing, but it is more exorbitant. I don't know if I'm saying that right. There's no way to justify remaining friends. Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, you do have to say, because I think you have to look at the person and say, if you're the kind of person that does that, if that's what's in your heart and soul, that you could do that, you aren't the kind of human being I want to associate with. And you would hope people were like that. You would hope people would say, I see what's in your heart and soul, and it's not good, so I gotta walk. But people don't do that. Strangely enough, people don't do that. I mean, it's really funny. I mean, I've put everything that's happened out there. Yet, there's a whole section of people who are still just like, nah, it's okay, it's cool, nah. Let's complain about our stuff. Woohoo! don't put that blurred picture of my kid's ear up. That's really bad. You know? I mean, we wouldn't want to see that blurred part of the ear that we can't even tell it's an ear, but that's okay to put that video of those kids up. Yep, it is. So, I don't know. Let's talk about a new subject. So, first, let's I want to divulge. I think we've beat that horse. So, does anyone want to first come up and let's kind of persuade into kind of a little bit something different? So, first, I'll put a link out and we'll see if anyone wants to come up. And then we'll nosy into a new room. And let's decide, what do you guys want to talk about next? And I watched a clip of a creator cyberbullying something worse. I know, it's funny. Yep, guilt by association. People always remain friends. Yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens with all this, where loyalties lie, and what all. Oh, well, I know what we can. So, do we want to talk about what happened to Justin and I getting called out? Do we want to talk about that, or maybe talk about Justin getting called, because, you know, there's a lot of people getting called out right now, which I don't think that's okay. And that's a whole nother topic, which I don't like when creators have one person on a panel talking about something really, really damning for someone without the other person there. Like what I saw this morning, and I don't know her. I've never, the Taya person or whatever, but she had one person on telling a story that was really damning to another person, but the other person wasn't there. And I think that that's really difficult. Someone can put in chat what it was. I'm not going to say. But let's say I come up here and I say, Precious Chaos is, she beats her dog. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say all about how Precious beats her dog. And say all these things that's going to make all these people dislike her. But she's not here to say anything for herself. I don't like that. It does happen all the time. And I do see some creators who will say, I don't feel comfortable talking about that without the other person here. And I really like when creators do that. Because, and I think it's hard for some creators because obviously you've got some drama going on, right? You've got someone here that's going to dish some shit about someone else. Drama, right? That's going to get you clicks and views. So as the creator, I'm sure they want to like, oh, keep talking about it, keep talking about it. But that's not, I don't think, the right thing to do, because that might get you clicks and views for the moment, but in the long run, do you want to be known as that kind of person? Because now you've got one person on who's telling a one-sided story, and the story I heard this morning was really not okay at all, because it was one-sided. It wasn't the whole thing. So I would like, and you know, sometimes this isn't positive to do, possible to do, but how hard is it to just say, okay, well, you want to say this about that person? Why don't we just try and ping that person up to see if they can come up right now real quick? I mean, how hard is that to do? How hard would it have been to say, oh, you're going to talk about Precious? Well, let's go see if we can kind of get her to come up so she can say the other side. Because when you hear both sides, maybe things are taken out of context. Because, you know, part of what I think happened with Crude, and Magpie, I'll read your thing right in a second. What happened with Crude and what happens with a lot of people is once you say something, it's out there. You know, if I put in the paper, like in our paper, it will list DUI arrests. Like most towns have this now. But they'll list DUI arrests, right? And like once you see someone's been arrested for a DUI, you assume they're drunk driving, right? Like, but that not necessarily. What if they have diabetes and they have, you know, their sugar got low? and they were acting a little goofy, and they weren't drunk driving, and they will be dismissed of all charges. But now everyone kind of thinks they're a drunk driver. And I have seen people get fired from their job for getting pulled over, you know, because people are like, you work in this industry, or maybe they're a driver, whatever, and like, we can't take that liability of you being known as a drunk driver, because people, you know, people are going to look, you know. So I've seen people lose their jobs because of that, and that's unfortunate, you know. And it's the same kind of thing. Once you put something out there, it's out there. So once you go out and I say Precious Chaos beats her dog, you know, someone's going to clip that, and now it's going to be Precious, you know, and Precious Chaos does not beat her dog. Precious Chaos is very wonderful with animals. Precious Chaos is a wonderful human being. She likes to puff, puff, give. But, you know, once you say it, it's out there. And so when we let people come on and say these things, like, it's out there. It doesn't matter if later, you know, the other side comes out somewhere else. The damage might have already been done. So let me read, Magpie had a statement here too that I wanted to read. How do you feel about when creators want to listen to a panelist lie about another person, but then when that other person... Yeah, I mean, like, I think too, creators, well, and let's just say, there's no vetting process to be a creator. Like, if you go to be if I went to be a radio host, they would vet me on how good I was. If I wanted to be a radio host that maybe did, you know, political stuff, and I was going to interview different, like, they would vet me to see if I was good at talking to people, getting both sides, being fair and neutral. On YouTube, any old person can come up here and say whatever the crap they want. So who knows what I have in the back of my head that I'm trying to get out there, you know? So I think there are good creators and there are bad creators, and, you know, and the bad ones are going to be the ones that allow someone to come on and spew things that they know aren't true, and then they're gonna shut the other side up. That's a bad creator. And unfortunately, there's no way to do anything about that unless we somehow down the road have some sort of vetting process. And, you know, I almost think, and this probably would never happen, but, you know, it almost is as if we need a vetting process on YouTube where it's, if you're going to give advice, mental health advice, you either meet some qualifications and show some things, and then maybe you get like a ding next to your name. Like, you've been vetted to be like, yes, you can talk about this stuff. And if not, then not, you know, so people know, hey, this person is giving out this kind of advice, and they got no idea what they're talking about. They don't know their ass from a hole in the wall. Or, oh, this person is giving out medical advice, and they actually used to be a therapist. So I might be able to take what they're saying with a little bit more credence, you know? And I almost feel like the way YouTube's going, we might almost need something like that, because there are too many people that come up here that act as if they're a certain way and say certain things that have no business saying anything that they're saying. And like Magpie said, you know, maybe they have a personal agenda. So maybe they're letting one person up that they know is saying some shit about someone they don't like, and then they're going to silence, you know, the other side. You know, like Robin said, she worked in a psychiatric hospital. So, you know, if Robin came up to do some sort of mental health channel, you know, maybe she has to list out all the things, like da 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 da. And if, you know, her things are just like, I was in a straitjacket for 10 years, maybe that isn't like, you know, and I'm not saying that she is, but I'm just saying, you know, we kind of almost need to know a little bit more about our creators before we just take what they're saying. Because I can come on here and I can look however I want, and I can talk however I want, and I can make you believe whatever I want. And I can make you believe that I am a professional who knows information about some sort of something, and then I'm going to talk about it, and you're going to take what I'm saying as Bible. You know, meanwhile, I could be a freaking sociopath who beats gerbils for a living. And you don't know that, and you shouldn't listen to a damn thing I say. I mean, you don't know. But, you know, the channel that I saw last night, I think that they don't like the people that were being talked about in the first place. But they had someone up who spoke very negatively about someone, and then was this where someone tried to come up and they were shut down? No, this wasn't where someone tried to come up and they were shut down. But, you know, there was no trying to hit, oh, and make sure you hit live chat too, because I always do that wrong. But there was no one trying to get the other person she was talking about, nothing. So this person, I was listening to it the whole time, and it's like, you're just spewing lies. Like, that is not true. That's not how it happened. That's not true. You're totally just, you know, slandering this person. And, you know, they're just like, ha, ha, ho, ho, and went on to talk about eyelashes. Like, what? What? You know, it's like, maybe stop and say, oh, well, do you have, everyone's about these damn receipts. Receipts. How about a damn receipt? Everybody asks for a receipt unless you're talking about something you don't like. You know, if you're going to rag on the person I don't like, say whatever you want. But, oh, you said, like, this person I do like has a small pinky toe. I want to see a receipt. I need a picture of that pinky toe. How dare you say they have a small pinky toe? Receipt. But this person over there is, you know, Jersey Cat, you might be the only one who does their own research. And like I said in the beginning, I'm sure, you know, people go out there, oh, you know, that Barbie with that bully channel, and they're just like, okay, yeah, see, okay, I'm a little drone. Whatever you say I take for gold. You know, and they don't go look it up. And then if they did, they'd be like, oh. And, you know, I've had a lot of that. Who just said that to me? Breege, you just said that to me. She's like, oh, you were kind of a little scary at first, you know. Probably thought I might be a vile human being, and then realized I was just a petty little bitch. See how that goes? You know? So you got to do your own research. You've got to listen to both sides. And didn't this used to just be normal knowledge, what you did? Didn't we used to just do this? I swear to God, like, that's the whole thing. I swear we were not vile human beings in the 80s. Like, I love the 80s. But I swear, I don't know if we were as vile of human beings in the 80s as we are now. I feel like we've reached a new precipice of vility, right? I mean, it's almost like we want to hurt people, or at least some people want to hurt, and I don't get that. Like, I honestly feel, and I don't know if you guys do too, but, you know, I used to kind of always think, well, everyone's really good deep down. Everyone's good deep down. And, you know, maybe just, you know, we don't get along, but you get along with someone, so you're probably a good person, just maybe not to me, right? But now I kind of am starting to think, like, maybe these people just aren't good people, right? Like, I honestly do feel like life was better in the 80s. And I don't know, maybe that's just me, but, you know, I know, you know what? It was Justin's fault. If he had just known what a damn ascot was, we would have never had the problem at all. All he had to do was know what an ascot was, and then no one would have talked about it, and it would have been fine. But he didn't know. But with that whole thing, hold on, I gotta blow my nose again, because I gotta blow my nose. But I will talk about that, because that is a whole funny little situation. Justin and his damn ascot. Can't believe, how do you not know what an ascot, like, who has, if you've ever played with a Ken doll, you know what an ascot is, right? So hold on one second. Has anyone ever had a high chew? High chews are the best. So I'm all 80s too. Like 60s and 70s too. I mean, I was born in the early 70s. Yeah, so an ascot it's the little scarf. It's the tiny little scarf that just, it ties here, but it's short. It's a short little thing, right? So, I mean, I don't know. In the 80s, hey, Kim, almost lost my little thing. You know, in the 80s, like, we had Archie Bunker and stuff. I mean, we were politically incorrect. We were totally politically incorrect. But we weren't mean about it. Like, if we accepted differences, I almost feel like. Few people are safe. Most people are Wait, it moved on me. Few people, stop moving. Few people are safe. Most people are dangerous. Choose wisely. That's true. That is very true. If the tavern would have taught Justin what, see, it's true. So, if you guys didn't know, Justin and I got in trouble for talking in a chat. And, you know, I will say, it's hard as a creator when you go into another chat because, you know, when you go into a chat, people say hi to you. Like, when I go into a chat, I want to always say hi. Like, I just, you know, make people know that I'm there. Because sometimes you go into a chat that maybe, you know, they don't like you or what, you know you, whatever. But I always want to say, like, hi, right? So you say hi, and inevitably people are going to say, like, hey to you, and you want to say hi back. And that does take, you know, you're going to see that on the chat. It's going to be all like, you know, someone comes in and suddenly it's all like, hey, all about that. And, you know, I went into a chat, I said hi, right? And then, you know, a lot of people said hi to me. Like, I did realize, like, wow, it felt like it was like 5 pages of like me, like hi. And then somehow you got in trouble. Can you imagine that? Oh, you don't even want to know about the trouble. I went to a Catholic elementary school. I got in a lot of trouble. We can talk about that later. But I got some funny stories from Catholic school. But and then someone said something about the Halloween thing, and Justin didn't know what an ascot was. So there were like a few messages back and forth about this ascot thing, and I said, because I was like, this is getting much, I said, I don't want to overwhelm chat. Can we take this offline? And Justin said, email me and I'll give you my phone number. And I said, perfect. And that was it. Like, that was it. I mean, if I hadn't have said that, it was one thing. But I literally was sitting there that whole time like, hey, you know, this is a lot, right? And I said, and then we got in trouble. And, you know, I'm not sure what creators are supposed to do. Because you don't want to not say hi at all. And then when people say hi to you, you don't want to not say hi back. And if someone asks you a question, you want to, you know, I mean, it's a tough thing to be in the middle of. You know, you don't want to not say something, but, you know, and I did realize, like, I felt like I was getting a lot of attention, you know, and I said, you know, like, let's take this offline. I don't want to overwhelm chat or anything. And then we got in trouble. So I don't know. I don't know what the rules are on that, but I think for me as a creator, I look at my chat and I think I'm getting better looking at it, but you got to let people talk. Like I try very hard not to direct what goes on there. Like, this is not my dealio. Like, I don't feel like this is my dealio, right? Like, you guys can be anywhere you want, and I love that Justin said that. I'm honored that you're here. You could be anywhere you want. You chose to be here. Who's doing the majority of the talking? Like, yes, I'm one person yapping, but you guys, you know, if you look at it, you guys are the majority of what's talking. You guys are talking to each other. You know, if you write out the words being written, you guys are the majority of who's saying what. And looking at what you guys are saying kind of directs me to talk about what I feel you guys are talking about. So I kind of feel like when I do a live, it's for you guys. You know, it's not for me. I mean, I can hear myself talk 24 hours a day. I can look at myself and hear myself talk 24 hours a day. I don't need to hear myself talk any more than I already do. So this is really all about you. It's for me. I think this is how I feel, and maybe everyone's different, but the way I feel is I open this up and it's a time for me to host you talking, for me to host you know, an area, I can't think of the word, where you guys, well, you talk about, well, I think like I put on what it's about and then I talk, but you guys, like if you guys started saying something completely different, if you guys started talking like about cats and dogs, I would start talking about cats and dogs. Or if you said, like I always say, what do you guys want to talk about? You know, if you guys say, I want to talk about this, I say, okay, let's talk about that. I mean, there's more of you than there is of me. I might be the loudest one, but, and that's why I say, I don't like, there hasn't been a single comment in here blocked, has there? an hour and a half. Has there been a single comment blocked? One. Has anyone blocked a comment? I don't think so. I don't think anything's been blocked. I don't think anybody's been timed out. No one's been booted. We're all just talking. And I think that's the way it should be. I wish YouTube had private messages. That would clarify a lot. Needle pulling thread just said that. I really wish they had that, because it would clarify a lot if I could, you know, click on someone and just have, and they used to. That used to be a feature. And that's why I say, if we look at what YouTube was a long time ago, it was very different. It was a video platform. You had to have video, like, and it wasn't video of a circle going blah, 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 blah. But Riff, like Deb Loves Cats just said, I don't have Riff Rat could come here. Anybody can come here. I don't have anybody blocked. Anybody can come here. I mean, the last time I had a live, you know, I had people that not everybody liked came in. And people immediately like, and I didn't block them. I didn't do anything. I just said, if you're going to be respectful, cool. If not, you know, same rules apply to everybody. I'm not going to block you because of what you did outside of here. Yeah, and everybody was. They came in here and said, we're not here to do anything. We're just here to be here. And everybody was nice. And at the end, I think there was one comment at the end, and I was like, girlfriend, nope. And that was that. And it was fine. I mean, it was absolutely fine. And, I mean, that's how it should be. I mean, if I start blocking people and then I start blocking comments, I'm directing how it's going. I'm directing your opinions. I'm directing your thoughts. And that's not how it should be. Like, I'm not going to learn anything, and you're not going to learn anything if we're all just yes men to the same old bullshit. Like, if we're all sitting here like, like, we're not going to learn anything. That's really boring. That's really boring, I think. The only way you learn something and move forward in life is to learn something different. I love when someone says something that I'm like, never really thought of that. Like, yeah, you might be right. I think that's great. I used to love debate team in high school. And I love, yeah, and most people use what an echo chamber is, wrong. But it's like, if you learn about, the Bay Area, the Bay of Pigs in Cuba, they use it as an example of an echo chamber, right? Because that's what happened for them. Like, if you look outside of it, what happened there was so wrong. And I'm not going to go all into it, but that was something where they said, should we do this or should we do this? And they decided to do something based on them having had an echo chamber. You know, one person said it and the other person was like, no, and they're like, no, but you better go with what I say. And they ended up creating an echo chamber, and they believed that what they were doing was the right thing, when in reality it was like, that was a dumb fucking decision if I ever saw one in my life. But they had an echo chamber. So they got themselves to, you know, it's like one person, the sky is blue. No, it's red. The sky's 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 red. Yay, the sky is red. The sky is red. No, it's still blue. Believe it or not, you just think it's red because you're being dumb. And that's a lot of what happens here. And I don't like that. So I never I want you guys to direct it. Like what do you guys want to talk about now? Like, that's what I want. This should be for you guys to get out what you want to say, because I know there are a lot of places where people are blocked, and God forbid I say the sky's blue, you say it's red. Like, that's an inflammatory discussion, and I cut you out. Like, I don't know how many times like, the sky is not red, right? It's not really red, right? But let's all just like take a second and just think about everybody in Florida. So it's made landfall. The sky is not green, Tracy. Quit coming at me. You're coming at me, aren't you? I'm going to have to. Can somebody block that comment? I don't like that comment. That comment hurt my feelings. The sky isn't green. And that's what happens. But I believe it's made landfall. So let's just kind of take a minute. And I know Robin Millette was in. Who else is in here that's in Florida? Or has something in Florida? Can we all like put some, I'm not one of those people who, but let's seriously like, you know, let's say some prayers for everybody in Florida, because I have fires out here, but those Those hurricanes are really bad. So let's all just hope and pray that everybody stays safe there, because we do have, I know Robin's there. We've got a couple other people that are there, and let's just make sure they're safe, because it's never fun when God tells us we're vile human beings. The winds are picking up, so the sky doesn't even exist. Well, technically, I mean, the sky is just atoms of oxygen, and it's up. I mean, the sky everything is really everything. Everything is really just a bunch of atoms. I mean, technically everything I'm looking at are just atoms of different types. It's all the same. Technically, we're all chemicals. You're a chemical, I'm a chemical. We're all chemicals. Like, this is protein. This is dead protein. Hair is dead protein, right? I believe. I mean, we're all just a bunch of atoms going along the day. I came from the sky. There was, someone did the George Carlin one where it's like everyone comes from their mother's cunt. It's like, where did you come from? My mother's cunt. And I hate that word, but it was funny how he did it. And it's like, well, where did you come from? And then at the end of the day, everyone comes from the biggest cunt, which is God. Thought that was kind of funny. But, yep, we're all cells. We're all electrical charges. Positive and negative, running towards each other. You can't get a hold of your aunt. Oh. Well, I hope your aunt is okay. Little Texas tornado. Is Fort Myers, it's hit there, I assume. George Carlin was great. I did say the C word. But I said it in perspective of George Carlin. But see, it's funny. Actually, when I went on Buddy, that is a squirt. I love squirt. You know what else is good? Wink. Actually, you know it's better than chemistry fueled by physics. P-Chem. Physical chemistry. I think if people have, I'm drinking a squirt. I love squirt. I love wink. Is squirt and wink the same thing? I think squirt and wink might be the same thing. Maybe. Not sure. But yeah, it's grapefruit soda, squirt, 240 calories, caffeine free. Oh, that was a dumb idea. Should be drinking a freaking Red Bull. Grapefruit soda. It's good. It's going to make me burp though. And when it's going to make me burp. A wink is, my grandfather always had it in his bar because it's kind of like a squirt, but he always used it as a mixer. Squirt is like a Mountain Dew. It's more grapefruity, I think. You just ate a Whopper? Oh, a Whopper sounds good. I love McDonald's. McDonald's is like, when I was in high school, I worked at McDonald's. These issues the issues do come from communication. I mean, a lot of times it's hard for us to talk to people. I mean, very rarely, if there's an issue and you go, wink isn't sugar free, because wink is like squirt, and squirt isn't. There's plenty of sugar in here. Kind of. No, it's really grapefruity. It's grapefruity. It's not citrus orange. It's grapefruity. So if you think of grapefruit, it's not like the orange drinks are more like sweet, like this actually is more tart because it's grapefruit. Like, think of grapefruit. That's exactly what it tastes like. And I'm gonna burp if I keep drinking this. And I have bad burps. You don't want to hear me burp because it'll be bad. But I worked at McDonald's in high school, and I love McDonald's. Oh my God! In high school, I used to work Saturday mornings at like 6 a.m. Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper is weird. Have you ever had a cream soda Dr. Pepper? My kids love cream soda Dr. Pepper. But Dr. Pepper is like, it almost has like black licorice in it. Like, is that like, you don't want me to belch online? You don't want me to belch online. Because when I burp, my kids are always like, when I burp, it's not like a little like, eh. it's like I have big manly burps, so I won't burp on mine because it will be disgusting. It will be bad. I that's why like I go blow my nose over there because my son broke my nose and it's like deviated and it's all and I can't breathe. You can hear I get all like I can't breathe, so I can be like that, which is disgusting too. Birch beer. That's isn't birch beer kind of like candy cotton soda? Is birch beer like a Dr. Pepper a little bit? Isn't it? How do we get talking about soda? Wink is, it's hard to find Wink. Wink is a hard soda to find. The only places I've really ever seen it were in like liquor stores. Where, oh, my chair's going to go down. This chair, it like goes down on its own. If it starts going down, it's like, it'll start going down. My son, he's just jackass, broke my nose. I've only really ever seen it at like liquor stores where they have, whatever you call it, mixers. But Wink is very much like a squirt. Actually, they might be the same thing. I don't know. Someone Google it. But here goes my chair. Here I go. It's gonna go. If I move my feet, it'll start going. See, I'm getting shorter. I'm getting smaller. It'll start going down. My son broke my nose because he was trying to do something. I don't know if I had something, I don't know. But I remember I was there and I was like, don't hit me in the nose. Don't hit me in the nose. Because I knew he was going to hit me in the nose. And I forget what it was about. But I was like, don't hit me in the nose. And then he hit me in the nose. And he hit me hard and I fell on the ground. But see, my chair was like, oh. But he hit me in the nose. And little jerk off. Birch beer has a taste of its own. Well, soda's great. Soda's great. Gives me, you know what's really good? Mexican Cokes. Because Mexican Coke has, it's not like the regular sugar, it's like cane sugar or something. But if you ever have a chance to get a Mexican Coke, that is the best. It has a taste all in of its own. All of its own. Oh, I just had to kind of like do like a little inside burp because I was going to make a really, you better call CPS. I give my kids soda. It's, and no one's really done CPS stuff lately, huh? I haven't really heard about anyone calling CPS on anyone lately. Not that that's a bad thing. But, so what's funny is, like, I've heard all about, like Benny Keys gets swatted all the time, doesn't it? Didn't I just see, like, he got swatted, like a week ago or something? Like, people get swatted. Mexican Coke and salty peanuts. Like, didn't Benny Keys just get swatted like a week ago? I think he did. But I hear all the time about people getting swatted. And, like, so they really come, they come to your house all guns blazing. So the Mexican Cokes they don't have sugar, like just sugar, like we have sugar. It's like cane sugar, it's a different kind of sugar that they use. So it's much, much better. It's a different kind of sugar. It's very, I live in California, so we always have like you got swatted last week for real, or just saying it? Because is that what they do? They just come in and like, so what do you do to say someone needs to be swatted? You say they have guns? Yeah, it's cane sugar. So you say they have guns and then they come in with their guns to get your guns or something like that? You've been swatted over 100 times? What? So who's been swatting you? Do you need swatted? They used to come in guns, now they come in a little aggressive. How many people here have been swatted? Like, can you blow it up? How many people here have been swatted? They knock on your door. So that was the one thing that I was, Mexican Coke is not expensive if you actually go to like a little Mexican store. Like we have little Mexican stores. But I was afraid of, people calling the police because obviously this jacknut little group of mean girls has my address. So I was worried about, what if they go doing something like that? So I called my local police and then I called my sheriff and I asked them, I said, do you do swatting? And I heard someone say the other day, someone who's not going to be here much longer, say that the police would never just call you of course they would never call you. They would just come to your house. Well, no, they don't. Here in my little itty bitty town, they call you. So I asked them and I said, you know, what if someone calls you and says something's going on here? Like, are you going to come swat me? And they said, no, we don't. And they said, we would call you. They said, first we try and vet, you know, what's going on. Is it real or fake? And if need be, we would, you know, call you. And they said, especially now that you know, I have something written in there about all this, that, you know, if anyone called them, like CPS, because that all goes through the sheriff too, because it's a small town. If anyone called them about anything, the first thing they would do is look in my record, and the first thing they do would be seeing what I said has happened, and then they would call me and say, hey, we just got, and they would, you know, and now they know, so they would go and find out where that call came from and, you know, try to get them because they know that it's not me. But I'm thankful for that because I see all these people getting swatted, and I'm like, holy hell, the last thing I need is a bunch of anyone coming here. But I guess it's such a small town that they don't, for them to do that, it would take all the resources of like the whole county, so they don't do it. So luckily, if anyone calls anything, they're just going to give me a call and say, hey, and I'll be like, oh, we know who that is. Early in the morning for drugs. Druggies sleep in, don't they? My goodness. Yes, I heard, but you know what? I don't think you can, if you lose your channel, you can't have another channel in your name. But also, if you, hey, just on, if you see, if that person just goes to someone else's channel and basically overtakes it, you can't do that either. Like, you can't have a channel, meaning you can't be on, if you're on there majority person, obviously it's your channel, even though the name is in someone else's name, they're going to take that too. I mean, they're not dumb. It's YouTube. Like, if you call out a channel and you say, hey, and they say, oh, look at all these videos, it's this same person. Host, it doesn't matter. You still are, you can't be on YouTube. So, hey, Justice. Well, we've already said all the good stuff now. Now we're talking about Mexican cokes and swatting. Isn't that a combination? So, cat hair in my, why do I always, I have cats, that's why, but I always get, like, I swear to God, I eat my own hair, and then my hair will get stuck on my tooth. So I have like a flosser. It'll be like a piece of hair stuck in between my tooth, like a flosser, but it'll be there. And so it's like all in my mouth. You can feel. It's really like weird. But everything catches up. I mean, I do believe in. I don't believe in karma, but I believe that at the end of the day, if you're a good person, things will happen good for you. Good things happen. I don't have hairy teeth. I started a rumor in high school that a girl had hairy nipples, and it was really bad. Maybe that's why I'm in trouble, because I started a rumor a girl had hairy nipples, and God's paying me back for my hairy nipple joke. But anyway, yeah, I got, like, they get stuck in, like, they're like, ugh. You smell, you probably do. If you know that you eat, like, I don't know how much it is, but pounds and pounds and pounds of bugs a year. Like, I don't know how many it is, but you eat a ton of bugs a year. You just don't know it. Like when you're sleeping and your mouth is open, or, you know, you're laying in bed and then like a spider crawls up your nose. I mean, you technically eat pounds and pounds and pounds of bugs a year. It's gross. And the number is astonishing. If you eat too many McDonald's, your teeth will grow loose. You know, I worked at McDonald's. Their food really isn't that bad. I mean, it really isn't. Who's calling CPS? See, that's another thing they do. I was worried about that, but that goes through the sheriff, and the sheriff now has, so they can't do anything like that. Yeah, like you eat, Google it. So go Google it and Google pounds of bugs eaten per year or something like that. And you do, and you'll be shocked. And it will say some large number of pounds, and that's how many pounds every person eats a year. It's astonishing. You don't realize it. But just like you're riding, like you don't realize how many bugs there are probably bugs going in my mouth right now. Like I probably have eaten like 5 bugs since I've been on here. You probably just didn't notice. Like a bug might have just went in right now. And like, you never know. You never know. Yeah. Have you ever seen the things where they show like your bed, or not, I won't say bed because there are bed bugs. Ha, there are bed bugs. like your chair, and they show like microscopically the bugs on them, and it's like, and they always look like little like aliens, like ooh legs, and it's like, oh, that's a microscopic like picture of like an armchair. Body mites, yeah, body mites are disgusting, and it's like, oh, like when you think about it, like there's bugs crawling on me right now. Ugh, that's so gross. Ugh, that's so gross. Like I would much rather have like a snake crawl up my leg than like a bug, because like an ant. Like I had this huge ant infestation. Like we had, like, I think it was 2 weeks ago. The temperatures went up to, it was like 114 here. It was ridiculous here. We had like 0% humidity, and ants in the country will go for water. They run out of water and they come, and I live in the country. There's like, it's their land more than mine, right? So I had this ant infestation, and it was like horrible. And I don't spray stuff. You know, I put out the taro, and it's boric acid and sugar. And so the ants go up to it. Like you put it down and they'll all form a, like, it's great. I'm sadistic when it comes to ants. Like I'm a real sadistic bitch when it comes to ants, right? So you put a little dot down and the ants will come and they'll, like, you'll see them all around it eating, right? Like horses to a trough or something. Hey, Ray Ray. And what they do is they take it back to the queen. So eventually the queen will die and they all die. So you'll actually get rid of the ants instead of just like killing them, like with Ray. That's a step, especially when you live in the country and it's like not just some ants that came to your house for a party, like they're here to live. Like, you know, it's like, you know, Motel 6 ants over there. Like they live here, they set up shop, they've been here, right? You know, so you got to really get rid of them. So we use that. And usually, like, we'll get some ants, and you have to figure out where the line is. You have to figure out where the line is so you can start up all your ants, right? And then you put it in it so it's like it kind of stops them and they just go to that and go back. And usually I'll put it out, and within 2 days they'll all be gone. But man, it took like 10 days. Like they would kind of die down and then they would come up again. Like I think it was multiple nests or something like that. And there were so, like, thousands of them. Like a pile. Imagine a pile like this size, just black. Like just all, like 1,000 ants were probably like disgusting. Like just like give you the heebie-jeebies, disgusting, right? And the worst part was, I think just from eating it, they just die. And so there would be like, I would be vacuuming. I'd be like, getting up the dead bodies, getting dead bodies. Like there are dead bodies everywhere, like all over the house. Like I go in the living room, it's like dead bodies everywhere. Like just all these ants, just like they were walking through the living room, like, ugh, you know, like ate too much boric acid today. Ugh. And they'd just be like everywhere, everywhere. They're disgusting. But I have pictures of them, and it's like it'll creep you out. It's like really creepy, really creepy. Oh, I hate them. I absolutely hate them. How did I cry? Oh, she's gonna be a bed bug for Halloween? I don't know. Well, the Circle Jerks made a costume for her that was a bed bug. Well, actually, they were. Is that the same as borax? Yeah. So yeah, taro is just boric acid, which is borax. Borax is boric acid, and sugar. So yeah, if you go and you buy borax laundry cleaner, it's boric acid. She's gonna be well. You know what? So she's roasting herself. Ugh. Why do you get mad at me for doing it? So mad at me for doing it, but yeah, you're going to do it? Okay, that makes sense. Well, she is and she isn't. I remember when I did the mattress mamas. I remember when I did that. And suddenly, she came out all mad. Well, first she was like, thought it was funny. And she talked about how, oh, that person's really gifted. That's really funny. And then all of a sudden turned and got pissed about it. And then it was like, whoa. I remember one time I was like in my car driving, and like I was looking for What's Live, and I had it on, and I'm in the car. And man, and Susan was there too. And this was when she thought that I was all that. Yeah, you can buy, it's called Taro, Terro. It's in an orange little thing. It's called Taro, and you can get it at Home Depot. You can get it at Ace, anywhere. I just put it straight on my floor because I have hardwood floors. No, the reason that I use the taro is because I have cats. And if they eat it, if your pet eats it, licks it, touches it, even your child, it will not hurt them. So that's why I use it other than like, you know, calling an exterminator or using raid, because those are harmful chemicals. So the good thing about taro is it's just a tiny, tiny bit of boric acid. I mean, borax is a laundry cleaner. Borax, that's a laundry cleaner, and it is boric acid. So, you know, and yeah, you probably want to clean it up every night, but I just put it straight on the hardwood floors and then, you know, clean it up. It's a little sticky, but whatever. A box of boric acid for Halloween. That's funny. But, and it's like, I turned this live on, and I remember all of a sudden it was like yelling at me, like saying they were going to beat me up. And like, I was like, oh my God, like, how is someone that mad about this? And I was listening to it, and I went to type to my husband, I'm on my way, but I typed it instead of in my texting, I typed it in the comments of the video, because I was doing it, you know, text to handless text, whatever, and it went in the chat of the video where they were yelling about me and like telling like, you're that bitch, blah, 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 blah. And I typed it, and then they're like, you're here. And then they were just like, come over here, take a link. And I was like, oh my God. Like, they were literally, like, it was bad. It was bad. And it was like that for months. Just like, she would just go places and just yell about me. Like, I mean, I bully, like, come on. Like, hello. Like, yeah, anywhere you go is like, you know, oh, that bitch, she's funny. She better come over here, blah, blah, blah. I'll fucking beat the shit out of that girl. I mean, it was like, if anyone bullied anyone, it was me getting trashed. You know, and I remember one time I went somewhere into a chat and I said hi. And I was like, that's that creator that said those mean stories. And I got blocked. And I was like, you know, like, I have a channel. It doesn't really sound good when people are going all over the place saying, oh, that's that bully channel. Like, that's not a good look for me. I don't want people saying that, because it's not true. And it's not nice. And obviously, anyone who believes that, I don't want you at my channel anyway, so whatever. And it's a very small portion of people, but still, like, that's not what you want. You know, you don't want to say like, oh, Justin, he has that, like, you know, trash and hamburgers channel. You know, oh, Pooh, he beats cats channel. You know, like, you know, you don't say someone has a channel of some other thing that they're doing that isn't true, because that goes to your reputation. So anyway, she would just trash me and trash me and trash me. And then the whole C thing came. See, now I'm talking about it. I'm going to blow my nose real quick. And then I guess I'll talk all about it. You want me to talk all about it? You want me to tell you the real story of what really happened? Because I can, because it's quite a story. And that story led to all this shit. That story is what led to everybody getting their wrenches taken away and the whole thing. Oh, like, it all led to this. That all led to this. So hold on. Let me blow my nose because I'm getting stuffy. I'll be right back. Should I wear my crown? Should I wear my crown? When I was talking with Lovely 15, which I had no intention of going up there, I wanted to write in back chat, and then she started like yelling at me. So, but she said my crown was not diamonds. Well, of course they're not diamonds. You know how expensive this would be if this was diamonds? My goodness, my goodness. They're Swarovski crystals, but you know how expensive that would be if those were diamonds? They're really pretty. I wore it on my wedding. But anyway, so you want to hear the story? You want to hear the real tea about what really went down? Because I think a lot of people forget what really, really, really happened. How dare I wear? You know what? Who cares if it's freaking glue? You know what I mean? Like, who cares if it's freaking glue? Like, what do you care? What does anybody care? What does anyone care what that is? Stupid. Stupid. But they're really pretty. I think it's really pretty. That was my wedding tiara. And apparently you're not supposed to wear a tiara as a bride. But anyway, so, all right, we'll tell the story here. We'll tell the whole true story of what actually happened between us. And y'all can make up your own minds. Well, you only wear it once. Magpie said hers was cheap crystal. Like, you only wear it once, so, like, who cares? I got that Elvira thing going on. I do kind of have the... You know why Elvira wears the outfit that she wears? Because she actually was burnt. She has very bad burns. I think she has burns, like, all down her arms and her legs. And pretty much the only place that she was not burned was her chest. So that's why she wears what she does. Because she felt obviously traumatized, like, and felt like as a woman, you know, she was ugly because, you know, she had all these very visible burns and scars. That was the only place. So she turned it into all about, you know, that thing. Okay, so enough about Elvira. So, all right. So, so I did the Mattress Mama's story. And the Mattress Mama's story was, it was about the thing that was going on at the time was Marissa had, she would have every day, all day, it was like the panelists, and it was all the women in bed, you know, and everyone called them the bed bugs. It was always like, you know, you could always go to Marissa's and see everybody, you know, in bed, talking for bed, and they were mean. They were mean girls. They were definitely mean girls. Anyone who remembered from back then, they were a little bit mean. Do you remember that? Someone put a question mark. So, like, do you remember that? I'm just reading chat. So, and this was like 7-8 months. This is a long time ago. But anyway, it would be like Heidi and Karen, and there was just a group of women that were always on panel, and, you know, they would joke a lot, but then they would get mean to people. And it was kind of just like what happened at the time, right? And actually, me as a real person, I remember one time I went in there and I said something and I got yelled at and attacked for nothing. Like, I mean, I got attacked, and, you know, so, like, whatever. So anyway, I wrote this satire. Oh, sorry. I wrote this satire, and it was all, like, kind of about what happened. And, you know, a satire is where you take a story and you exaggerate it so it's funny, and then, you know, so it's just kind of about that whole time and place, all what was going on. And what, you know, everyone can go watch it, right? I mean, it, you know, it roasted. Justin was in it. ICU was in it. Whatever. So that came out, and everybody was like, whatever. I got a lot, you know, everybody loved it except for her. She got really mad. But at first she liked it. At first she said it was funny, right? And then she didn't like it. And she started yelling about it and about me and that I attacked her disability, because in it, it's all about how, you know, there's this group of women who, you know, went on camera from their beds and they yelled at people, and eventually they broke off into factions, because remember that, and there was like, you know, because Heidi and Shorty broke off, and then, you know, there were two factions, and then Heidi yelled at Marissa and said, get out of my life, you know, so it was all about like what happened at that time point. And she didn't like it because I guess I said she was in her bed, and so I attacked her disability, which, okay, there's a difference between me saying, I think whatever, because you have fibromyalgia, that's attacking your disability. But me saying you look frumpy on panel from your bed because you're looking frumpy and need to get changed and do your hair, that's not attacking your disability. That's attacking you being lazy for not getting made up and looking nicer in your bed. I mean, whatever. I don't like this whole like attacking my disability. That's not attacking your disability. I would play the video, but I don't have two monitors. My other monitor broke. If I had two monitors, I would, but I don't, so I really can't. But everyone, if you go to my channel, it's on it. It's the first Mattress Mamas. It's like the wannabe reality star and the Mattress Mamas, and it's the very first one. There's 3 of them, 4, you know, but she got really mad about it, right? And yeah, it was the East Coast Shorty Mamas, and then they were the East Coast Crybaby Mamas. I mean, it was a roast, whatever. You know what? And if oh boy, something's gonna make I got a lot of things that'll make your mouth drop too. But, you know, if anyone ever came to me and said that really hurt my feelings, I would talk to you and we would resolve it, you know, but no one ever has. Everybody loves it. People ask me to be roasted. But anyway, so she gets all upset about it. And then she's like attacking me for months and months and months. Just, you know, and I'm just like, whatever. I'm not going to be drawn into it. You know, one time I went on someone's panel and like she saw me, that's that creator that made fun of me and Susan and attacked my disabilities. And then everyone in chat is like, what channel? And I'm like, whatever. Like, you know, okay, thanks for like putting my name out there as something I'm not, and then they block me. And anyway, so fast forward to where, you know, I think I was in Susan's and they were on Purple's, and someone said something like her channel was gone, right? And I looked and I typed it in and it was gone. And I said, oh yeah, her channel is gone. And then someone said, no, she didn't delete her channel. She just changed the name and privated the videos. And I said, oh, so she fake deleted her channel. And then all at once I hear, I didn't fake delete my channel, OG, you fucking cunt. And she enunciated that T, and that was what made it even worse. And I was like, and then you hear like Frank be like, whoa, and then you hear Purple go, what's going on? And it was like, I mean, yeah, just for a while, like, I think it was your lighting, but he looked a little green. He was, I mean, it was the time and place of the time. But yeah, so then I made a video, like a response, because, I mean, I will dissuade, like, say whatever, but if you're going to go out there and call me that, like, I got to respond to that. So, you know, that was the first time I ever said anything bad about her, right? I responded to her, right? So anyway, so I got called that, and then in a chat that Purple was in, because you can see in the receipt, she's like 2 people up, Justin said, she called Queen OG that, well, she's she's the biggest, and I'm not afraid to say that. It was, you know, it wasn't like he's like walking down like, hey, that's a great fruit over there, and Heidi's up, you know, or like, oh, it's gonna rain today, and Heidi's up. You know, there's a difference, you know, narrative here, like, you know, what's like, it wasn't just like flat out like, da da da, you know, it was in reaction to me being called it. Heidi did. That's why you said it. She said it to me, and you can see it in the receipt. You said, she called Queen OG that. Well, she's the biggest, and I'm not afraid to say it. That's how you said it, right? That's how you said it. And then Purple did a live all about how bad it was that he said it, and damning him for saying it, but not talking about anything else. Now, she does this the day before my video response to Heidi comes out. So she's forgotten about all these things. So she's not realizing that doing a live the day before my video that everybody knows about coming out, talking about Justin saying it, but not talking about her saying it to me, is not going to cause her live to go up in ruckus. Like, duh, of course. So I think someone went on and said, you know, I think Justin said it for this way, and I think this video is coming out, and that started a big thing, and then we were over in Buddies, and then, yeah, and then someone said, like, hey, this is happening over there, and we were talking about it amongst ourselves, and then, sorry, my hair's getting really goofy, and then they came in and started, like, being inflammatory towards us, and just shit went down, shit popped off, right? And the next thing, she's saying, I'm going to unsub from Buddy and I'm never going to promote him again. And then, you know, Buddy went to them and, you know, got rid of everybody who was with him from the start. And that's when that was the start of that whole thing. That was when that started. Like, see how, you know, all these things came together. Yeah, and she says it all the time, Justin. She says it all the time. I mean, Red and Blue Poo made a video. She says it all the time. I mean, my goodness. One day it's like, oh, this person can't say it, but I can. I'm sorry. I don't. If you're going to say women are equal to men, then women are equal to men. If you're going to say it, then you're going to say it. And that means you can't say it any more than you can say it. Yeah, Kim, you have to see. Justin did a live about, well, Heidi's part of this. But, I mean, if you're going to say it, you're going to say it. I mean, if a man can't slap a woman shouldn't slap a man. If you want to be equal to a man, be equal to a man, but be equal to a man. I mean, you can't have it both ways. So that's like, that was, her saying that was like the thing that started everything. And so, like, her saying this whole thing that I'm always have been bullying her for, like, last night when she went on last night to Tiz, and Justin did a lot. So if you go to Justin's, and anyone can drop any links in here. So if you want to drop Justin's second channel in here, you can. But Justin did a live about it this morning. She went in a live this morning and started calling out Justin for saying that. And that's what I was talking about the panels. You know, the person, whatever her name is, Taya or whatever, she had Heidi on, and Heidi was completely talking about how horrible Justin was for saying that. But she left out the reason that he said it, And I think it's irresponsible, but the person owning the channel should say, let's verify. You know, you have to vet these things. You can't let someone say a story that is so hurtful and defaming to someone without making sure it's true. So if you're going to let someone come on and say this person said this vile thing that's going to make everyone who hears it be like, whoa, 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 oh, that's not good, then A, make sure it's true, and B, maybe let the other person on there to defend themselves. Like, that's just proper, isn't it? But that didn't happen, and so it was just this big hate fest. And you know, I was just waiting. She did talk about the bullying channel, but she didn't say my name. I was just waiting for it, because if she had, it was gonna go down. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's the thing. There are the people who know you, and the people who know you will always know you, and they're not going to believe bad stuff about you. And then there are the people who don't know you, and they don't know you, and those are the people you worry about, because maybe that's going to make them think something. But you hope that if they do, that they'll search you out to make sure it's true, you know, because they'll look at that. But then there is that group of people who are going to hate you no matter what, and you can't care about them, you know. So I think everything works out in the end. Like, I believe that everything will work out in the end. You know, the people that are going to hate you are going to hate you no matter what. The people who really question, should I just like him for that? They're probably going to seek you out and just make sure. And when they do that, they're going to see that Justin's a sweetheart. And obviously that's just crap. I mean, you know, it goes to intent. It has nothing to do with the word. It's just, I think it's the intent. And I think people use that word and say it in a certain way that makes it as horrible as it is. Like I said, when I said it was the enunciation of the T. It was the way it was said. Like, it was a fucking, and it was just the way it was said that was just made it the way it was. But if you're going to say that a guy can't say it, then a girl can't say it. I mean, it has to go both ways. I mean, yeah, probably, just on, probably. But that started that whole thing. And that just goes to this big picture of what's going right now, as we have a bunch of people being vile human beings. And there's a difference. Like what Justin did, maybe he was a petty bitch, but he was not a vile human being. There's a difference. What happened to me was done by vile human beings. So there's a person that just keeps saying bullying me. So what are you I cannot pronounce that. Skobgard. So what are you trying to talk about? Exactly. Justin just said, he tells his husband, it's not the message, it's the delivery. And it's true. It's the way, it's not how, my mom used to say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And that's very, very true. Like I said, there is a service called Been Verified, and it's there and anybody can use it, but it's how you use it, right? You can use it to just say, hey, I'm going to see my old friend from high school, and I don't know if they're an axe murderer because they're going to stay at my house. I want to check them out. You can do that, but if you do it and you look at it and it's kind of only for your own, look for yourself, whatever, that's fine. But when you use it to, like I showed with me, all those emails that got sent, that's not okay. That's different. And that's when you become a vile human being. And I think I'm going to put all the different emails on, maybe on my a community post of all of them, so everyone can see them and see, you know, white pages is better. I used to have white pages because I owned a company, so I would, you know, I was always looking, and just like nannies and, you know, people that work at the house and stuff. I mean, there are times when you want to check people out, but it's what you do with it. Yeah, Skocard, so you know him? So what is, he just keeps saying bullying me, so I'm not sure what he's trying to say. Like if someone's bullying him that he wants to talk about, so yeah, I had it for my business for years. I mean, when you have a business, that's what you're supposed to use it for. Oh my God, remember the phone book? I said this before. So we used to look people up and like Craig call, and there was a guy in the phone book, honest to God, Harry Beefeater. His name was really Harry Beefeater. It was the funniest thing. There was a guy whose actual name was Harry Beefeater, and we would call him and just like, who whose name is Harry Beefeater? But actually, hold on. I lost my virginity to a guy named Harry. How crazy is that? Like, his actual name was Harry. Yeah, remember crank calls? You'd be like, hey, is your refrigerator running? Well, you better go catch it. Oh my gosh. You would look people up. Does anybody remember doing Ouija boards from the phone book? We used to do Ouija boards from the phone book. Oh my God. We had some crazy ones too. I remember one time we picked out a funny name. And yeah, no one has a home phone anymore. Does anyone have a home phone? I don't have one. If anyone has an actual home phone, put it in the chat, because there'll probably be like 2 of you. Nobody has a home phone anymore. Stacy has a home phone. Stacy might be the only person in the world who has a home phone. Stacy and her home phone. That's it. Stacy's the only person who has a home phone. Stacy and her home phone. Oh, Shooty's mom has a home phone too. Oh yeah, the strongman ripping the telephone book. Well, I think people 70 and older probably all have. My husband's parents have a home phone. And the voice recorder, the message thing. We used to call people named Elton John. We used to look for Harry Beefeater. We would look for people named Harry. See, very few people have a home phone. Like, not sure I would agree. Oh, I think heels is funny. You know what? The thing is about, oh, there was always a bend over. The thing is, though, I talked about it in a bullying video. If you don't like someone, just don't go to their channel. Like, people say, like, oh, it's a bullying channel. The circle jerks, they're a bullying channel. How can they be a bully when you're not going to someone? Like, the hallmark of a bully is that you seek someone out and go after them, right? Like, you go up to them. You meet them at the bus stop. You go up to them at the lunch table and smack them. Like, you go up to them, and as the person being bullied, you know that, like, you can't get away from them. No matter what you do, it's like they're always there and they make your life hell. Like, how is anyone having a channel over here that nobody has to listen to? Like, nobody has to listen to at all. Like, how can that ever bully someone? Like, you don't have to listen to it. Like, I don't understand that. Like, I'm over here stating things that I want to state. And by the way, it's a comedy act. Like, I wonder, not that I'm anywhere near the ranks of, like, a George Carlin, but did he have these problems? Like, did Eddie Murphy get this? Like, oh, you're hurting my feelings. You bullied me. I mean, like, did they have these problems? Pooh, you are definitely considered a bullying channel. Yes, you are. But how are like circle jerks? How are they bullying? Like, so Scobart said, I want you to bully me. I want you to do my life. Yeah, bullies are not, like, bullies make you feel, and that's supposed to be the hallmark. You feel like a victim. I think the hallmark of a bully is supposed to be the exchange of power. Like, what a bully does is they take your power away. That's what they're supposed to do. They make you feel like you have no power in the situation and you can't get away with them. Oh, can you imagine George Carlin on YouTube? Oh my God. Can you imagine? Okay. I would really like George Carlin to come do me like a solid if he was here. Like, really, George, if you're out there, can you like come like say something for me, because it's ridiculous. But I don't, being a bully is all about power. It's supposed to be you taking someone who's weak and taking their power away, right? Like, so are all these people weak and I'm taking their power away? Like, I'm not even talking to you. Like, the only reason you hear it is because you come to my channel and listen. You don't have to do that. Like, go away. And then, because they say that we are the bullies, then they do what was in that video. Not the same. Petty bitch, vile human being. Big difference. And even, like, red and blue. Like, I think that probably goes as close on the line of what you would say would be bullying only because it's straight matter of fact, like you did this and that's wrong. And I don't think that's bullying. But if you want to go on the line of like a me, a circle jerk, a poo, like as far as, you know what I mean? But still, all they are doing is saying what someone did. They're taking clips of what someone did and just calling it out and saying like, "Oh, you did this? Well, okay." How is that bullying? How is it bullying to show you doing something? I mean, and that's really all that I do is that's what a roast is. You take an action or a behavior that the majority of people don't like and you poke fun at it. It's like you talk about what was the Playboy guy, the old guy? He's dead now. Oh God, I can't remember his name. Um, what's his face? It's like, when he's in bed with the ladies, they don't know if he's having a heart attack or an orgasm. You poke fun at the fact that he's like an old guy with a bunch of young women and he can't get a boner anymore. You poke fun at that. Like, you don't sit there and say Hugh Hefner's old and that's really gross that he has sex with young women. They're disgusting. You don't say that. You just poke fun with like, oh, Hugh Hefner gets in bed and he doesn't know if he's going to have a heart attack or an orgasm. You're poking fun at it. That's the difference. And, if you don't like it, don't listen to it. Don't listen to it. That's all there is. That's all there is. And another thing I don't like, and the whole thing with Dolly, like, why are we talking about it publicly? Why? And B, I don't really know much about it, but I believe a bunch of women did some things, and now they're not happy about it. I mean, I don't know. I think there are too many people in this world not taking responsibility for their actions. Like, we've come to a world where rather than take responsibility for our actions, we blame other people. And that's what we do. Rather than say, I sent someone a nud and they did something with it or whatever, you blame them for something. Right? And I don't like it. Well, see, I don't know the whole story about it, so I probably shouldn't even talk about it at all. But if you're deceiving and using people's numbers, but with like the whole nud thing, what I heard was that people sent him nuds and then he like used them, like whatever. But if you send someone something, like, I don't know. So okay, what are we talking about? We're talking about people being harassed here. Okay, hold on. Stop the presses. Nobody's getting harassed. Hold on. Let me take some of my soda. Hold on. Wait, unseen. Why are we talking? Okay, so here's the other thing. I think sometimes when things end, we have to let them end. Like I don't, like, no one, so, all right, so hold on. I do have to pee really bad. So I am going to pee, but then we're going to talk about this. Because I think we all know what's going on with Unseen, and it gets talked about a lot. I'm kind of tired of talking about it, to be honest with you. So let's just talk about that for a second. So let me go pee, and I'm going to come back. So hold on. I'm Okay. Do you like my dorky shoes? I love those. They're my new, like, weirdo house shoes. All right. Okay. So, I don't know what these are. Like, I don't know. They're really, like, weird and big. I don't know. They're kind of cute. Okay. All right. So, what were we talking about here? I saw, why would anyone take screenshots on YouTube? Well, a lot of people take screenshots for these receipts, which everyone has to have a receipt. And you know what? When I think about a receipt, it's like if I tell you something, and you need me to show you a receipt, you don't believe me, right? Like if you're really my friend or whatever, I should be able to tell you something, and then you're just like, okay. If you have to ask me for a receipt, then you kind of probably aren't my friend because you kind of don't believe me in the first place. So maybe that's part of the problem. So what happened to Unseen? I see a lot of people talking about what's going on. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry that your dad passed away. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry that you're going through that. That is a hard thing to go through, and I'm sorry for that. They're like platform, and they're like all like, yeah. So I will say this. I mean, I'm very sorry for your loss, but I also think that other people, good or bad, aren't going to I don't think anybody, how should I say this? Like to think that a big channel is going to behave differently towards someone because of what's happening in their personal life, that probably will never happen, unfortunately. Because one, how would the channel know? And I think people there's so much going on. You know what I mean? Like if you have a personal thing going on, which I'm very sorry for that, but maybe that's just a time to just not be on YouTube, because I think the expectation that people are going to be nicer to you or not say things that they might say because of that, I don't think that's a realistic expectation. Right or wrong, I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying that I don't think it's a realistic expectation to think that anyone's going to treat you differently because of something in your personal life, which they most likely don't know about. You know what I mean? I just think that's the reality of the situation. And even if you say, hey, I mean, this is unfortunate. There are petty bitches and vile humans. And some of them will hear that you had a loss and will be even worse to you. I understand needing a distraction. I get that. But maybe YouTube isn't the best one. And I'm not saying it's right, but you could watch TV, you could watch things on YouTube that are not chatting, or go to a chat about cats, and you know what I mean? I think if you're going to go into the drama community, it's not a realistic expectation to think that if you go out there and say, hey, whatever you're going to say to me, pipe it down because my father passed away. I don't think it's a realistic expectation to think that would happen. And that's unfortunate. It would be nice if people said, hey, let's just not go after her right now because of that. It would be nice if people did that, but I just don't think that's going to happen. I mean, does that make sense? It's unfortunate, but and a lot of people will treat you worse because of that. A lot of people will be like, hey, we're going to go after her harder because of that, because we know we can get to her. Because the fact of the matter is people who are actual bullies, or people who are just go after other people, the reason they do it is for a reaction. They want a reaction. And knowing something bad happened in your life, they know they're going to get a bigger reaction. So they're going to do it even more. Again, that's not right, but that's the reality. You know, I try and think in my head, you know, here's right and wrong, but what's the reality of the situation? And unfortunately, the reality of the situation often is wrong. You know, people often behave wrong in the reality of the situation, but, you know, you have to be realistic about things. You know? And like Magpie said, we really have no control over others. If we know we can't handle their toxicity, it's important to take a step back. And that's true too. One thing that I learned, like in getting older, is that to not be upset about things that I can't control. Like, I can only control what I can control. I can control what other people do. I can't control what other people say. And for me to get upset about that, that's only a waste of my time, right? Oh, thank you. Someone liked my shirt. It's just like, it's a little, that's a little booby shirt. But if you can't control something, then wasting your time thinking about it is a waste of time. Like, I don't like to waste my time. You know, you know, that's just, it doesn't do anything for me. So if I know that I can't control how someone acts, I'm not even going to think about it. And that's kind of like with, you know, people who are, I don't even like to call them haters because they don't know me well enough to hate or love me, but, you know, people who say negative things to you. I just don't listen to them because I can't control them, and it has no bearing on me. Usually the people who don't like you for themselves, not for anything you've done. So if I can't control it, if I have no bearing over it, then, you know, it just needs to go away because there's nothing you can do. All right, so what happened? Yeah, and, you know, the worst thing you can do is everything is just white noise until you give it validity. Like, if someone said, you fuck frogs, and I say nothing, most people are going to be like, oh, she fucks frogs? Well, they're kind of slimy, and I don't even think she likes green. So, you know, whatever. It'll, like, pass. But if I sit there and say, I don't fuck frogs because I'm allergic to the juices that frogs produce, you know, and I start going on, and here's my receipts to show I don't fuck frogs. Well, now I've kind of given a little, like, breath and a little validity to the topic that I might fuck frogs. Like, why do I have to say maybe I do fuck frogs? Why am I so, like, you know, about, you know, like, you start giving things validity and credibility when you answer them back. If you just ignore it, people are just, and it goes away. I think things go away faster if you just ignore them. Like, once people start answering to them, it's like, ooh, what does she have to hide over there? Why is she so quick to answer that way? People start reading into how you say things, and then suddenly it's like, well, maybe Queen OG does fuck frogs. Maybe she fucks pigs too. You know, we just don't know, you know? I mean, I would suggest if you need noise to buffer yourself out, you know, there are plenty of other types of creators you can probably listen to. And just listen to those. Yeah, their problem with you is their problem. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing in the world you can do to change what other people say. There isn't. And you trying to change their minds is only going to make them dislike you more. That's just the reality of the situation. So you can either ignore it, and I promise you it will die out, or you can say something back about it and try and prove them wrong, which is just going to keep it going. Or the worst thing you can do is actually get upset about it or get mad about it, because then then now you're mad, they're mad, now it keeps going. The sky is not green, Tracy. Quit coming for me. I'm going to have to block you, Tracy. Stop it. Sky's blue. Sky's blue. Yeah, Hakuna just said, here, I'll just, boop. It does. You know? I mean, the idea that now I offended someone because I used frogs. See, that's the other thing people get. People get all, oh, why'd you say frogs instead of that? I understand. I mean, unseen. I think we all understand what you're saying, but I think, sometimes you have to just realize how the world is, and just, even though it sucks, it is what it is. I find it, here's another interesting one. I find it ironic that subs cry not to go real life and yet back those creators known from the... Exactly. And Lenny, that was one thing that I kind of said, which was, once you know people that do things, for example, once it comes out who did these things, which, you know, we're talking small children, we're talking a picture of a 13-month-old with an address next to it. Hey, come be a pedophile. Come say hi to me tomorrow. Up all night. Yay. You know, I mean, that's not okay. And when you hear that story and you know that is happening, and yet you still like, subscribe, you know, it's like, that kind of says something about you. It kind of says something about you. And what it says is not good. Oh, I got it. All right, let's look at some other comments. So what's going on with the earthquake? Here's another good. So I think a lot of people take YouTube to be their therapy or their friend or their outlet. And that gets dangerous because YouTube isn't your friend, it isn't any of those things. YouTube is a bunch of people who range from petty bitches and assholes to vile human beings spouting at the mouth. Truth be told, that's what it is. So, you know, yeah, I mean, the thing about what happened to me is there are people who, I mean, I've been quite public saying what's happened. I showed a picture of one of the emails like over a week ago, and you know, I've had someone say, well, I accused someone without showing receipts. Well, I didn't accuse anyone technically because I'm not that, you know, there's other places for that. So, you know, technically, no, I didn't, but I don't need to show any receipts here. Like, I hate that. Like, I don't need to show anybody anything. Like, I know what's going on. My lawyers know what's going on. Legal people know what's going on. Police know what's going on. I don't need to show anybody anything. Like, I had my live last week, and a certain colorful crayon was all like, she went on there and accused all of us and didn't show any receipts. Well, one, I didn't accuse all of you. I may have mentioned one person who I thought might be involved, but never accused all of you. See, that's the thing. When you say, hey, did you go to the store on Friday? And then someone says, I didn't go to the laundromat on Friday. I didn't say you went to the laundromat on Friday. I mean, people get kind of creepy. So, did I accuse anyone? No. Did I accuse you? No. Did I say that certain people don't like me and that it could be one person who publicly has said they don't like me? Yeah, but that's not accusing anyone. People said, who do you think it is? And I said, well, you know, what do you think? And they go, she doesn't like me. But even if I did accuse someone, I don't need to give anything to anybody. I don't need to give anybody a receipt. I don't. Just because I say something, I don't need to prove anything at all. I am allowed to stand up here and say whatever the fuck I want. If I choose to back it up with something, so be it. If I don't, so be it. And if I don't, and therefore you don't believe me, so be it. I mean, I don't like the fact that everything that everybody says, unless you have a receipt, if you don't believe me, you don't believe me. And if you feel that way, most likely, even once I show a receipt, you're going to belittle my receipt, because that happens too. Someone says, I drove into a light pole and then drove up it and jumped off and it was amazing. And people say, show your receipt. And then you show a video of you doing it and they say, oh, you made that video up. That was doctored. You did that, so the people who aren't going to believe you aren't going to believe you. And having a receipt isn't going to do it. Accusing or pointing is exactly what a creator did about a car. Hold on. Accusing or pointing exactly what created about a car. Sadly, it caused her to be harassed and stalked by subs. Well, I mean, I honestly have no idea what you're talking about with the car. But irrespective, that is sad because subs shouldn't harass or stalk anybody over everything. And that's something I was saying earlier. Nothing that anybody does is a tit for tat to go harass or stalk someone. Nothing. I mean, I don't care what anybody does. Nothing that anybody does makes up for someone being a vile human being. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. Bye, Limey. So, what do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean is the most magical phrase. Yeah. Receipts regarding missing children. Well, I mean, it depends what you're talking about. Yes. I mean, obviously, if you're saying certain, but I'm not talking about that kind of stuff by far. You know what I say, Linny? I say never say anytime someone says always or never, like I left. Like your credibility is gone. Because no one always does something and no one never does something. So like when my child says, I always clean the litter box. No, not all. I never said this. No, like you can't say that. If anybody says you always or never, then I know you're lying because that's just not possible. That's not how the world works. It's just like, you know, people who, when you get to racism, that's exactly what racism, believing a certain type of person is always something. No one's always anything. You know, everybody's different in their own unique way. And once you realize that, the world's a lot better place. If you lick their ass, you don't need a receipt. Well, that's another thing. And that goes to the whole adage of, you know, if my friend throws me in the river, it's okay, but if my hater throws me in the river, I'm going to beat her up. You know, two people can do the same thing, and if you like them, it's okay, and if you don't like them, it's not okay. And that's just human nature. Like, I have my mother and I have my mother-in-law, and they both can do the same thing, but I'll think my mother-in-law is an asshole, but I'll think my mom is fine, because, you know, that's just human nature. That's just human nature, how it works. And that's another thing. You know, I think we also need to realize what human nature is. I mean, sometimes we expect unrealistic expectations. Like, if you expect certain things, like, you're just fooling yourself. Like, you can't expect certain things. Like, my son got upset at something, and he didn't realize, like, the sound was on. And some people heard him upset. And he's like, only one person came and said, are you okay? And I was like, well, did the other ones, like, were they mean to you? And he's like, no, they just didn't say anything. And I told him, I said, you can't expect people to always come up to you and say, are you okay? Like, you can't expect that. You know, there's certain things we can't expect from other people. And when you do, you're bound to be disappointed. Okay, I'm reading chat. So, I got about 10 more minutes, just letting everybody know. But I think this is a great discussion. I just believe people sow seeds. Yeah, I mean, I think that's wrong of creators. I think we as creators, dumpster squirrel. I like dumpster squirrel. I think we as creators need to do a better job of not directing the narrative, because it's not our job to do that. I mean, us, and especially is evident in the live I was talking about earlier. And you have one person on saying one story that is not nice about one person, and you don't have someone else to tell the other side. You know, as a creator, I don't think that that's okay to do. I mean, you can do it, but I just don't think you're the best creator if you're going to tell a story and only tell one side of it. Because now you're directing a narrative that is defaming towards one person. And I don't mean defaming in any legal sense. I just mean, you know, you're saying something bad against one person. And I don't think that's okay. You know, I think as a creator, you should be a little bit more responsible with what you're saying to make sure that you don't direct the narrative. And I think that's why I don't like to control chat. Like, not a single person was timed out. Not a single state comment was hidden. Not a single one. Not a single one. Not one. None. Right? I mean, and I think that's great, because once you start doing that, you're directing the conversation. You know, you're saying, well, you're not going to be heard. You're not going to be heard. And you're kind of saying how things are going to go. And I don't think that's okay. So I think we as creators need to be a little bit more responsible in that area. So so good point, Just Dawn. Let's see Just Dawn's point. Sorry, I'm off topic. Here's a issue. Someone goes on a panel and drags another person without the exactly. And I don't like that. And I mean, granted, you can't always have the other side on. And I mean, I think if you're planning a live and you know this person's going to be on, then you really should make sure you have the other person on to talk, right? And if you're planning it and you don't, you shouldn't do it. But if you're doing it real time, like if I'm doing this real time and someone comes up and they start saying something badly about, you know, Deb loves cats. So someone, like granted you're here, but pretend you're not here. So someone comes up and they start saying something bad. Like as a creator, I mean, I think I have to say, and what I would do is say, hey, she's not here to talk about the other side. Let's try and see if we can get her. And if we can't, you know, maybe we tend that for another time, you know, or maybe as they're saying something, you need to question it. Like, don't, you know, I heard last night, you know, this person saying these bad things and the other person's like, yeah, like, just like, you know, why don't you vet that? Why don't you see if that actually happened? Check it out. I mean, it's not real hard to make sure someone's telling the truth. I mean, everything is recorded here, right? So it's not that hard when someone says, I said this and this person said that, to kind of take a minute to go check it out or to ask other people, is that true? It's not that hard. And when you don't, now you're directing a narrative a certain way and you're hurting someone else. And once you put it out there, it's out there. So now we have this out there, which is going to go to this person and this. Like, I don't remember if anyone ever saw that that one commercial, and it was a shampoo or something, and it was like, tell someone about this shampoo, and it was like, and so on and so on and so on, and it had like one little box of the woman, and it was hair. So I remember she had her hair, and then it was like 2, and then 4, and then, you know, and it just kept growing. And that's how it is on YouTube. You say one thing that is a bit of a falsehood, and then it goes to someone who goes to someone who goes to someone, and then you've got all this crap out there that is completely not true that could hurt someone. You know, you have people out there who think someone is something they're not, and then maybe doxes them, maybe makes a video about their small children that's so bad that YouTube takes it down. You know? Exactly, the telephone game. I mean, there are certain things that I think we need to be more responsible for. And I think we need to be more responsible about when we see irresponsibility saying something. I mean, we co-sign the bullshit too often. You know, people are just sitting there listening. Like, say something. You know, if you see someone being shady, maybe say something. You know, if you know your friend did something really shitty, maybe you shouldn't be friends with that person. You know, too many people don't stand up for what's right and their morals anymore. And I don't know why that is. Like, there used to be a time when it was like, my word is my bond. You know, and all I have is what I say, you know, and who I am. Feed Alsatian, that's what it was like, and so on and so on and so on. I mean, like with my grandfather, it was like, my word is my bond. That's all that I have, you know, is what I say. Yeah, so the particular chat last night, Robin did, well, maybe it was a different, but there was one where Robin did try and go up to say something, and she got muted, and that's even worse. That's even worse. It's one thing that you're having a one-sided dialogue, but when you have the chance to make it a two-sided dialogue and you shut it up, well, now, I mean, that's just like that. I mean, that's just my opinion, but, you know, to do something that's one-sided in the first place, and then when you have the chance to make it not one-sided and you don't take that chance, like, that's just, you're just trying to start shit at that point. And again, that takes you from being a petty bitch to, you know, a vile human being, because now your intent, like, the first intent is, I'm trying to have a show, and someone came on and it was one-sided, but my intent wasn't to hurt anyone. Now you're shutting the person up. Your intent is to shut them up and hurt somebody, you know, right? Oh, I dated myself a long time ago. I'm always like, I'm 50, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, she wasn't muted and she was berated. And I think that's bad. And then I think the next thing that goes is that then we let that kind of behavior continue. Like all these people in here, you all that are all saying that's not cool, well, you know, we have to show that it's not cool. And the only way you can show it's not cool is by not subbing to those people, not going to those live streams, not giving them any attention. And I mean, we all like drama, so sometimes it's hard to like not go, you know, we go see the drama, you know, it's like an accident. Everyone wants to go and see it and see how many dead bodies there are. But I mean, I think we have to, at a certain point, just ignore it, you know? I mean, like right now, we have someone who is going away because they did something wrong. And when they come back, are we just going to like let it, you know? Are the people who were hurt just going to be okay with it? I mean, we all decide what we do, and what we do has a reaction onto other things. So if you continue watching, if you continue letting it go, then it'll keep going. And I guess the big thing that I wanted to come here to say today, and I think I'm going to put it on my community wall, all the different pictures of all the different emails that I got, is that, you know, everybody talks behind each other's back. We've all done little petty dumb shit, right? But when it gets to that level, that goes beyond being a petty bitch and an asshole, and then you're a vile human being. And it's one thing to be a petty bitch. It's one thing to be friends with a petty bitch. It's one thing to be sub to a petty bitch. But when you know someone's a vile asshole, then, right? So, all right. So that's what I have to say today. I want to thank everyone who came. I really appreciate that you guys spent your time with me, because you could go anywhere. And I think it's great. And once again, I think we had a really good discussion, and not a single comment was hidden. Not a single person was timed out. Nobody was blocked. I have no one blocked, and nothing happened. Like, we had a great chat, and nobody fought with anybody, and it's great. So I think that's just a testament to you guys. You guys are great, because there's more of you than me, and you do this, not me. So thank you for coming. Thank you for spending your time with me, and I hope we can do it again next week. I love this. This is like our weekly thing. We just go and like chat. So, all right, everybody. Bye.